be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog balls confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not know better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing about a woman on the day. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like the 7 Omega. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy, and man makes them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings. Welcome to Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced tonight. This is a live stream on Facebook, YouTube. We got Brother Che there in the Denver offices. Okay, we thank you in our chat room, Brother Man, to you. Okay, he's asking, is there any updates yet on that Jordan Hill case with the hit and run killing? Okay, brother, please drop knowledge. I have no knowledge of it. Okay, now the dump as in human shit, and I want to make this perfectly clear about it. Guess what, FBAs? He's talking about deporting black people back to Africa. So I want to get some feet.
We don't give a damn. He can't deport us. How you gonna deport the foundation of the country? That don't even make no lot.
Sir.
They just trying to get us riled up. It's out in the streets.
Sir, I'm just relating, man, the information I'm coming across. The motherfucker is crazy. He belongs in jail. You know it. I know it. The American people know it. And he knows it. You see what I'm saying? And he knows it. So it looks like it's that the repubs are having a bunch of infighting amongst themselves, which is a great thing, you know what I'm saying? And then hopefully they'll be certified as a political party. Hopefully when they have the midterm elections that they will flip the House, then they can go on and impeach this bastard and take his ass right straight to fucking jail. Okay, now.
In a perfect world, Shabaka, but this ain't it. So greetings, Black family. In to season 10, because we were in our 10th season of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. That means we've been around for 10 years now, and this is episode 20 of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. And we will be having a general discussion on these topics, which is Trump actually undermining white supremacy, Governor of Pennsylvania Josh Shapiro's house getting firebombed in Pennsylvania, Namibia.
You see the crazy looking motherfucker who did it. That motherfucker look crazy as hell that did it. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Namibia is making sure Americans have proper visas. Is Trump going to deport FBA-DOAS-FREEDMAN, otherwise known as Blacc Americans? Hell no. Hell to the no. Is Trump going to give a U.S. citizenship to South African Boers? Hell no. And is the Republican Party going to fall apart due to MAGA from within? I would hope so.
No, that'd be great news as if they did. Every last one of them no good bastards need to go right straight to fucking jail on no bail holds. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Every damn last one of them. You see? And then thank you for joining us, V. Malsby. How's your evening? Okay. And then on top of it, too, we should have Dynamite in here with us. He was most definitely was sent a link. Okay. I see Jay Militant is with us. Then, of course, Frontline Blacc News. Okay. Now, Black family. All right. Is that now? That is the time for us to focus on some black businesses. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Brother Man to you has a question. He says, how are children or kids or anyone supposed to learn if they cut or defund the school system? Makes no damn sense.
Okay. The answer to that is to get our children out of these public indoctrination centers and start putting in some effort to homeschool our children. Because when they go to these public indoctrination centers, they'll be going up against shit, just like what happened with young man down there in Texas who's out of jail, until the court's pending. You see what I mean? Because one thing about these white folk, they do things in numbers. You see, that brother in Texas defended himself. Okay, now where's old Governor Rolaids on that?
Probably too busy drinking beers about it.
Yeah, probably up there with Ted Cruz popping a Corona, telling everybody to kiss his ass. Okay, now you see, Black family, The reason why I don't have a problem with these crooks stating how they honestly feel, you know, where he's coming from. You see what I'm saying? Just remember that a frown is turned upside down, my friend. Remember the undisputed truth? Okay.
Yeah. They
Trump is
backstabbers.
Yeah.
All in your face, all around. They want to take your
smile
place.
In your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers. And Bernie Sanders, you need to go on and retire. Kamala Harris, you don't have a chance in hell on being the governor of California. And that's why I'm so glad I moved out of the damn state, because see, Kamala Harris, you are 50% of the reason why I moved away from California. But I'm still out here in the wild, wild west. You know what I'm saying? Shit is going crazy. The economy is crashing. You see what I'm saying? So the more reason for us to start some Black-owned businesses. Now, you Black entrepreneurs, hire your own people first, okay? That shit, well, I don't see color. You could best believe that color sees us.
Yeah.
Because we all we got. We is all we got. Say, look what happened to OJ. Look what happened with Robert Johnson. I ain't Black, I'm OJ. Yeah, look what happened to him. Look what happened with Robert Johnson when he sold BET and thought that he was going to buy a portion of United Airlines. They looked at him and said, nigga, is you crazy? Get your black ass up out of here. Look what happened with Tyler Perry when Tyler Perry thought he was going to buy some of Paramount. Man, we ain't got time for you, man. Go put on your dress somewhere, Trick, and go up there on the Sunset Strip. You know what I'm saying? Remember that record by Donna Summer? Sunset people doing it right. Yeah. Be careful of what you grab up there on Sunset Boulevard. I'm telling you, folks, it's crazy. And then, not to mention, the individuals who is going around here shoving ketchup up their asses, talking about that they are women. That is an insult to the sanctity of womanhood. You see what I mean? And then Dynamite, you know, you should be in here, brother, with us. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got an invite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what have you say? All righty. So therefore, before y'all talk about, well, Shabaka, you being an arrogant black bastard and all that shit, right? Shabaka, you black son bitch, right? Shabaka, you goddamn nigger, right? You came to the right place. So we appreciate all the contributors to our platform. We appreciate those who come in there with positive direct. And also, too, what's our troll's name? What's our
they keep Regal.
Who? Oh,
Regal.
Yeah. Old Regal Spiegel. Yeah, Regal, we want to hear what your ignorant ass got to say as well, too. You see what I mean? And all that, you know, so you go up there and keep driving in that over-expense Mercedes-Benz, and, you know, and you'll find that some bitch on the side of the highway one day. And whatnot. And then also, too,
let's get to the first topic.
Yes, sir. Let's do it to it.
All right, so the first topic is Trump actually undermining white supremacy? Yeah, don't say. So Professor Black Truth gonna give us an update on that. Happy new Black Media Appreciation Month. All month long of April, it is new Black Media Appreciation Month.
Okay.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the moment of truth.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. President Trump again imposed unjustified tariffs on our nation in violation of our existing trade agreements. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table.
what is it that Trump is doing that has become so egregious that you have to speak out?
Well, look around us. I mean, the impact Trump is having on the world, on the Western alliance, on markets, on our economies. I mean, these are matters that we have to talk about. We cannot continue this bipartisan gaslighting that is going on at the moment, where there are these massive changes in Washington affecting us and the whole world. I mean, look at the extraordinary treatment of Canada, efforts to basically cripple Canada's economy in order to bully them into becoming the 51st state. I mean, this is all unprecedented. But yet, if you look to our political leaders, there's nothing wrong with AUKUS, everything's fine, the relationship is fine, nothing's changed.
Let me come back to AUKUS.
Well, it has changed.
What's that old saying? Adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. White supremacy is a house of cards. And whether people want to admit it or understand it or not, that house of cards stands on a very fragile foundation. That's part of the reason why it's very important to them to make sure that Black people remain completely and thoroughly powerless. But what the Orange Man is doing is actually a threat to white supremacy, not because of the fact that he wants to destroy it, but rather that he's forcing them to undergo some changes that they don't want to have to undergo. This has been one of the perennial features of white supremacy. When it comes time for them to rejuggle the order of power, they soon find themselves at loggerheads. It was Spain for a while, then England.
Black Power. John Mike was just in here. I don't know where he went. But to answer your question, brother, he has a full mandate. So even if because he controls both the House, the Senate. The Republicans control both the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court.
Right.
So has a full mandate.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to tell Brother Man to you. Where is Congress or the House of Reps and all this foolishness and madness? Brother Man, to you is that they're all in cahoots with this joker. You see what I'm saying? And and it's getting ready to go crazy. And Namibia has stated that anybody from the U.S. that's visiting Namibia, they're going to jack them up, to make sure they got their proper paperwork in. Now, my question is, how is this here going to affect Black folk from here that's going to Namibia? You see what I mean? Okay. And then also too, Brother Che, you was telling me, man, that they got some crazy shit that's going on over there in Liberia as well too.
Oh yeah, well they was attacking the Black women that was going over to the FBA Black women. They was attacking them in Liberia, and in the Gambia.
Okay, what was the purpose of these attacks?
They see them as foreigners, Shabaka. They don't see them as...
Once again, the neo-colonialists. You see what I'm saying? That's going to be a hell of a chain to break. You see?
Yeah.
Because, they control all that educational system over there with colonialism. And then, of course, as we do know that the neo-colonialist is the cat who is on a puppet string of the colonialist doing it. This is why I appreciate Brother Ibrahim Traore of what he's doing. Look what happened to Thomas Sankara. You see what I'm saying? Look what they did to Gaddafi. You see what I mean? And then, you got these Uncle Sambos going over there, man, you know what I'm saying, talking that bullshit, so they probably showing them the door as well.
Real ID is about to take this people.
We got a whole lot. Now looking at this raggedy ass broad, AOC slams Trump, stating that if he's looking for rapists and criminals in the U.S., telling his ass to go look in the mirror. Now, I agree with AOC on that one right there. Real ID is about to take full effect, and now they're messing up airlines and travel, so making it difficult all around. Okay, Brother Man, you're right. It's all part of the conspiracy. You see what I'm saying?
AOC. Remember, that's the same one that said, I have African blood, but I'm not Black. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, another Kamala Harris. Well, I'm not going to do nothing strictly for Black people. No.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No. Because.
Yeah, see, You know, and then Brother Mantis states real news about to take full effect and messing up airlines and travel, so making it difficult all around. Now, the answer boss is, yeah, go ahead.
Get through the video. So as America is Europe's enemy now.
And then France and England, then the United States. Look, we understand better than most that under white supremacy, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend.
Right.
We have no friends.
Exactly.
But then again, neither do they. All they have are alliances of convenience. But it's part of white supremacy's DNA that they have no permanent plans for any of their tools, even amongst themselves. Loyalty is a dirty word for them. What they really want is obedience. And some tools may be more useful than others, or others more difficult to dispose of, but they always want to get rid of them. For a good long while, the black media told you that if the orange man were to become president back in 2016, there wouldn't really be anything that he was doing that the Democrats hadn't allowed to be happening for the longest time. A lot of people were scared, terrified, their knees knocking, teeth chattering. They're sitting here going, oh my God, he gonna get us, when these white supremacists have been allowed to get us for the longest time. What we also saw was that at the end of the day, if you want to bring down a hideously corrupt system, there's one of two ways to do it. You either marshal enough power and resources where you're able to topple them on your own, or what happens is these guys basically eat up enough of the landscape that they become decadent and decay from within and just keel over dead. Remember, the most devastating loss of life that actually happened to the Europeans didn't come as the result of the bubonic plague or anything. It was actually by their own hands. And it happened at a time when they should have been the most at peace and the most secure, but of course they weren't. The two world wars happened at a time when the Europeans were not fighting for control. It came at a time when they had already colonized most of the world and they had everything seemingly under complete control, except for their thirst for power and their need to show their power through violence. They like to put a pretty face on things, but that mask always slips. The European Union itself is nothing more than a last-ditch effort to give European influence a last gasp. But they simply cannot overcome their age-old dysfunctions and antagonisms long enough to actually band together. Their complete failure to reinforce Ukraine is proof of that. A lot of people are surprised that the Orange Man and his vice president are leading the charge to give the middle finger to the Europeans, but we've seen this before. During W's administration, all it took was the Europeans merely giving a couple of peeps of discontent, and you had Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld talking about France and Germany being the old Europe, and the European Union supposed to be an economic bloc, and yet when Greece fell into their financial malaise, it was the Germans who were giving the middle finger to them and saying, well, you know how those people down there are. They had been at each other's throats before colonization. And now that they had won the so-called great game, they reverted back to type and resumed killing each other in the single greatest bloodlettings in human history. The only thing that they're able to agree upon is their utter hatred for us. If black people didn't exist, they would have had to make us up. That's pretty much what they tried with Ireland. But then again, they do that with their ethnic minorities all over the place. Now, I'm not saying the Orange Man is necessarily going to be the end of white supremacy, but what I am saying is that ultimately there's no honor among sleaze. The Europeans, both in Europe and abroad, have used anti-black racism as their organizing principle. That's why the so-called one-drop rule only applies to black people. It doesn't apply to melanin in general. It specifically applies to black people. This is meant to enshrine the idea that there's some sort of inherent essence of whiteness that must be protected and preserved from any black contamination. White identity is a negative affirmation. It's based not on what you are, but based on what you are not. And this is done in order to create the basis that whiteness has some sort of inherent value in and of itself. And that value is based on, well, we're not like those black people. Now, don't get me wrong. White power is very good at complaining bitterly about how they're treated by one another. And then 5 minutes later, they're making nice as if everything is everything. We've seen that trick before, too. It reminds me of the neighborhood kids who you see fighting with each other 1 minute, and then a few minutes later, it's back to the playground. It's not unity that keeps these racists from turning their knives on each other. It's that they have to keep an eye on us. So anti-black racism not only incentivizes these bigots to continue acting as if whiteness has value, but it also acts as a safety valve. Just in case some of them seriously think about getting off code, you got to remind them, but what about the niggas? The problem that a lot of people are having is that the orange man, with support from more than a few of the American Caucasian population, happens to be doing things that are actually doing damage to the essential international white solidarity that must exist for this global order to persist. White supremacy isn't based on honor. It's based on using power in whatever form it takes to coerce others into obedience. Of course, Trump is starting fights with them. White supremacy only has 3 moves: attack, lie, steal. If they're not doing the one, they're certainly doing one of the others. But when you see what Trump's doing with his tariff war, just understand he's laying bare the inner conflicts and petty rivalries that had previously been painted over by prior administrations. Sure, they make nice for the cameras, put on their phony smiles and shake hands, and it seems as if, oh, these white supremacists, they just love each other so much, but all of that animosity is just beneath the surface, and it doesn't take much to break that surface. The shills and plants will never understand this principle, but I don't think anyone should actually believe that Trump's antics are bad as they relate to Europe, not if you're thinking that white supremacy is a bad thing. If you want to fracture white power, then it's common sense you would want them to start pointing fingers at each other. Regardless of how this tiff over tariffs turns out, they won't forget about this insult because of how brazen it is, and they will know that it can happen again. The Achilles heel of European hegemony has always been that sooner or later they turn their guns on each other. They can't help themselves. This is why the black media told you that Trump getting back into the White House would ultimately be a good thing in the aggregate. In his arrogance and ego, he'll want to see everyone bow down to him. And of course, his MAGA supporters will go right along with it, mouth frothing, shaking their angry little fists, because as they see it, he is an avatar for them. He is their most ultra, their most grotesque, their most belligerent form of white primacy. And they eat that stuff right up. He will overreach inevitably, and in the process, he'll bring things to a head, things that should have come to a head a long time ago. People need to understand that the status quo is intolerable. They need to see the white right in particular stomping all over them to the point that they won't tolerate any more excuses from the Democrats and will put actual pressure on them. You see, there is no rise of the right. That's an empty white media slogan. There has only been the failure of the so-called left. Democrats embarked on the cold-blooded calculation that they would abandon the very policies that black people compelled them to adopt in their hopes that they were going to maneuver themselves to be a right-leaning party that would talk about the working class, they would talk all egalitarian, but they would act no differently than the Republicans. That's the reason why you see them constantly on cable and in print, flooding the zone with all of this gibberish and lies about, well, it's those far leftists. They're the ones who are losing us elections. We can't do any of that stuff that they want. That loses elections. They know that that's a lie, but this is their current policy. This is the real change and transition that they want to take up. So they're going to lie and lie big and see if people will fall for it. No matter what the Democrats may try to tell you, they are just as dedicated to maintaining white supremacy as the Republicans. That's the reason why you had Biden and the others and Obama before him, who were trying to do everything that they could to go ahead and, quote unquote, mend those fences. Even as a person of color, Barack Obama was still recognized as an agent of white supremacy. That's the reason why those European leaders over there were so eager to embrace him. They knew exactly what this guy was. After all, when you put on Caesar's robes, you must act as Caesar. And so he did. But with the orange man, you happen to have somebody who's now running around and doesn't particularly care whether or not he steps on people's toes. He is the perfect personification of the psychopathic selfishness that white supremacy has always represented. And that's very destructive and very corrosive if it is not checked, which is what the Democrats and some of these people who are right of center would like to do. So in a very real sense, Trump, in the abstract, could be seen as a tool that we are attempting to use. And when we're done with this tool, he too will be thrown away. Good day and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Mouse, William Outlaw, Sakina Collins, Stay Positive, and Samora Morris. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
Start this morning.
All right, Shabaka, what's your thoughts on what the good professor just laid out for us? Is Trump actually undermining white supremacy?
I think he is, and then I'm thinking too, is that they're getting fed up with him, you know what I'm saying? And it would be nice to see them crash and burn, you know what I mean, and what have you. You say it's just crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? It really is. You know, it's just crazy, and what have you. You say, and then it's just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know.
Long sleeves.
Yeah. And then too.
For the bus. The only thing that keeps united is their hatred of
pretty
Black
much.
people.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's true, man. And they hate us with a passion. You see what I'm saying? And they hate us is because they cannot be us. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, okay. All right, I'm trying to share the feed a little bit. Okay, we going through some bullshit, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. You know what I mean? And so therefore, and let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay. So they're saying is you can't share this on Facebook because I got Facebook as stream for as friends only. So so we're not gonna do it on public. You know what I mean? Because you know we got them crazy trolls out there, you know what I'm saying? And whatnot, you know. This is just downright insane. You know, it really is insane. Yeah.
The price before it completely collapsed. Well, there's always casualties of war, brother man, to you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at war. That's just the very beginning of our platforms. We're at war. So if we're at war, there's always casualties of war.
Yeah.
And he said,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we are up here on Facebook. We're up here on YouTube. So PewTube got us. Okay, so let me cue. Okay. And so therefore too is that all we got is each other. You see what I'm saying? And then of course, you know, they're capitalizing on the infighting or what else as well too. You say? And what have you.
It's not infighting. It's not infighting. All we're doing is what every other group has been doing. They have distinguished themselves from one another, and all we're doing, we're late to the party. That's all it is. We're late to the party. We was on this kumbaya. We all Blacks in the struggle. We all Africans in the struggle, and the rest of the diaspora said, "Nigga, please, we are Ghanaian, we are Haitian."
Okay. Okay. See, that's the neo-colonialism.
We are.
See, those are the neo.
We are Nigerian. Did Trump make a decision yet on whether he is going to decrease or eliminate tariffs that Europe has requested yet? That I'm not sure. I know he put tariffs on several European nations though, and the EU was complaining about it. Is this still Black Joe?
No, go there. Yeah, we got Black Joe in the house. Hey, Black Joe.
Big one salute to you, brother. Black.
What's happening, everybody?
All right, how you be, man? How you be? We back at it again, man. You know what I'm saying? And thank you so very, very much for joining us. So we're looking at this white dude, Trump, man. Now, let me get you some feedback. Now, let me get your opinion on this here, Black Joe. Okay, Donald Trump is talking about deporting.
Well, you're jumping the gun a little bit, Shabaka.
America. Now, what's your take, man?
Shabaka, you're jumping the gun, but yeah.
Black power, y'all. What's up?
Hey, Black Power, Dynamite.
Sorry to interrupt. I just had difficulty getting in here, so now I'm here. Black Power, y'all. What's happening?
Oh, hey. Yeah. Okay.
Deport
so
who?
now, okay, he's talking. Okay, the dumpster as in human shit, and we want to make this perfectly clear, by the way. Okay, he's saying is that he's going to deport quote unquote so-called African Americans. Okay. Question: where is he deporting them to? Next question.
The only black person I seen him that faced deportation was that African chick that overstayed her visa.
Exactly. Thank you, Black Joe. Yep. Thank you. They said Afghanistan. The president said Afghanistan.
No. These Africans, they have overstayed their work visas and their school visas that are getting caught up with the Palestinians protesting or getting deported. And when they get deported, they want to say that they're black all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They ain't black.
That part, Black Joe. Yeah, they get black when they need to be black.
And when it's convenient, right?
But I heard that on earlier about Afghanistan because he was talking to their president about some guy that got deported, but he was actually from there, and they were saying he's MS-13 or whatever. But either way, the president was saying, well, he's not an American citizen. We don't have to take him back. It's up to Afghanistan to actually deport him. Was it Afghanistan or El Salvador? Sorry about that.
Are you talking about Afghanistan or? I heard about the El Salvador one. I didn't.
No. It was Afghanistan. Sorry. Their president that he was talking to earlier.
Dynamite, that was the president of El Salvador.
Yeah, what I meant to say then. Sorry about that, mishap. But yeah, the president of El Salvador, because he's saying that he don't have to, he's saying it's up to the president of El Salvador to ship that person back. And if they do, they going to deport him again. So it's like, okay. But talking about American citizens being deported and basically being sold on the slave market because that's
basically not being sold. And not being, man, that prison in El Salvador was designed for MS-13 and the rest of them Hispanic gangs that make our Bloods and Crips look like preschools.
That's
right, they talking about U.S. citizens though. So I said so much slave trade because
when I keep on saying I'll be the first one to hold Trump accountable, just like with the closing of certain African American museums and stuff like that, right? Yeah. But on this subject that we're talking about right here, getting these people who will turn you to Mexican soup and behead you out this country. All right, man, you fighting the wrong fight.
They just sending our criminals over there with them. But
they haven't. They haven't. You gotta understand, bro. Like I've been saying ever since he got elected, they're playing with your emotions. They are skilled at playing with Negro emotions, straight up. So a little bit of research take you a long way.
Yeah. I was watching.
They did to Adam Clayton Powell.
John. Yep. Black Power. Well, we'll see.
Look what they did to Adam Clayton Powell.
Then let them. If they really are the worst of the worst, then let them go. But he said some really bad people. But I remember him saying some really good people on both sides when that guy ran over the crowd and killed that lady.
About down in yeah.
Okay. Now, Brother Man 2 says right here in the chat, he said he wants to the dump wants to deport Black Americans to El Salvador. But why? They're of all places.
He was talking about the criminals that's already in prison. And he's not he can't legally do that because they're still legally citizens. They still are citizens of the United States.
You know when you were a kid and you would get into an argument with somebody and they'll say your mama and then you would swing on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
America is trying to get black folk to swing on them. We set out they protest. These white folk are on their own with everything that.
Right.
See, they elected him thinking that he was going to hurt us, and he's hurting them more than he's hurting us. All we gotta do is sit back and stay strapped and get clapped, man.
Yeah,
right. Watch these motherfuckers crash and burn. You know what I'm saying?
So one of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm watching them crash and burn. You see?
One of these affected white supremacist
And the reason.
But when they gonna flip the script on us, though, you know? Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Maurice, greetings, brother Maurice. Thank you for joining us. Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced.
What's up, Mo?
What's going on? Black Power, Black Power.
Oh, always, brother Maurice, always. Okay, but with all this craziness that you see that's going on here with this dumpster dude, okay, is the more reason, man, that we must do for self. Okay, and I don't give a damn if we're in the United States. I don't give a damn if we're in the Caribbean or in the whole diaspora. The whole diaspora need to unify, but as Brother Chaz pointed out, you got too many of these damn tethers, and I just look at them as that they're worse than Yasa bosses too. Just like the sister had did the YouTube video.
Look at them as the foreign bosses, Shabaka, because that's what they are. They foreign bosses.
Kenya just chased some black folk up out of there for saying Jesus was black.
Yeah,
they tried to stone that preacher.
All that shit. Yeah.
It's video.
So
like,
yeah.
But I want to make this one point. If we're able to sit back and watch Trump do this to the Hispanics, Trump do this to the tethers and everything like that, right? Mm-hmm. If you're sitting back and you're not getting prepared, water, food, firearms, armor, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Black Joe.
Yeah, man.
That's right. Yeah. He said, what's the word? A grifter. They're both bad, brother man, for you.
Yeah, get prepared. As a matter of fact, I don't know if y'all can see this little bitty package on there, but I don't know where the camera is there. But anyway, pack of seeds. We got all kind of seeds. Onions, watermelon, black watermelons, purple watermelons, plums, man. It's gonna be the Garden of Eden up in this joint in a minute.
That's right, Donna. I've been growing my own food at a little community garden for the past 5 years.
Well, I ain't done, man. I'm like, this half of it gonna be in, half of it gonna be out, so that way the family can always eat. Then we can enough to spread it around to the people who can't eat.
Yeah, tethers are the worst. They look just like us. That's right, Black Joe.
Mm-hmm. Think about this too. Okay. The Africans have been saying for about a decade, we have no culture, we have no history. But when you go online, they are emulating everything we do.
Speak on it, Black.
Like we can have black unity around the world. Like I keep on saying though, it has to start here first. It has to be between FBA, then an olive branch, because what we've been doing the last 40, 50 years as far as Pan-Africanism is dead. That is dead. Mm-hmm. Like most of these politicians
that hijacked that there too. So you had the doing that there doing most of the empowerment work.
Most of the congressional black caucus is tethers. Yep. Like the thing that just went down in California. The thing that just went down in California.
What is that?
When that $5,000 per head on reparations that it was talking about, we didn't even get none. Y'all didn't get none of that, but the tethers still got their housing. They were still allowed to get their house. Some of those illegals got housing. And they were talking, man, it's a cluster screw. And like I keep on saying, as long as this racist ass motherfucker, excuse me, as long as Trump is in office, the focus.
You authorized to say this show's for those 18 years of age and over, by the way, too.
Gotcha.
I'm putting that out there. And we're doing no copyright infringement. We're doing under the Fair Use Act of 1976. So therefore, Zuckerberg and all you punk ass bitches up there in Silicon Valley, be sure to remember that there too.
Right.
Church. But hey, as long as this fascist dictator is in charge, because it don't matter if it was him or if it was Kamala. Like it's the same bird, different wings, man. But as long as he is being hard nosed and hard pressed on immigrants, because what they not showing you is Ukrainians getting sent back, Germans getting sent back. They don't make a talk of that. You know, it was some Ukrainians that tried to go into Canada, got into a shootout a few months ago with the border patrol, and then got smoked.
Yeah, they sure did.
Is that right?
Wow.
So
wait a minute now. Let me make sure I understand this, brother. So we had some white-on-white crime of them killing each other.
Yes, they're not going to broadcast it.
News. Okay, that's great news. Okay, now how can we further that cause?
By sitting back, learning your local politicians, strapping up, growing your garden, getting your armor, and putting the perimeter around you and your tribe.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
All right. So another topic that we have is the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. His house was firebombed. What was it?
Oh yeah, did y'all get a look at that crazy ass looking motherfucker who did that?
Yep.
You already know
that was like a meth baby for real.
Man, it's
you know, so he looked like one of them meth babies.
On the surface of that, that's easily explained too. Well, you can hear all these liberals and progressives turning up people's cars and moaning people and doing all this irate stuff. Well, Shapiro is a Democrat. He a Jew and was just celebrating that holiday. That's self-explanatory.
Passover, yeah.
Passover,
yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
And then,
I'm gonna play
and then of course,
custody overnight. After overnight arson in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro's house was bombed. It's MSDNC, you know, otherwise known as MSDNC.
Morning in Pennsylvania. A suspect is in custody after authorities say he scaled a security fence 7 foot high early yesterday and broke into the governor's mansion where he set a fire. The flames left significant damage and forced Governor Josh Shapiro, his family, and guests to flee the buildings in the middle of the night. The governor said he, his wife, their 4 children, and another family had celebrated the Jewish holiday of Passover at the residence on Saturday and were awakened by a state trooper pounding on their doors around 2 a.m.
While my family and I were asleep upstairs here at the governor's residence, one of the state troopers assigned to our detail banged on our door, woke us up and told us we had an emergency and needed to leave immediately. Together, we secured all of our children, our 2 dogs, our family that was staying with us, and the troopers safely evacuated us from the governor's residence.
After they fled, firefighters managed to extinguish the flames. You can see extensive damage there. No one was injured. Later on Sunday, officials captured a suspect identified as 38-year-old Cody Balmer. A motive was not immediately clear, but Governor Shapiro said officials believe it was a targeted attack.
We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours, we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly. This type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other.
This kind of violence. Didn't y'all bound this country off of violence? And did this mug have anything to say when the Latinos and shit was bombing black families' homes in South LA?
They need us for their conflict here in America. Us sitting aside, like, look at it like this. All them black Hebrew Israelites on the East Coast, this would be their calling.
Yep.
They need us to participate in their bullshit, and we're refusing to. So it's one thing after another after another.
That's right, Black Joe.
Like the stabbing at the track meet. The black dude defending himself. I've been staying out of that because I had to let the rest of it come out. Bruh, if they was to jump him and one put hands on him trying to physically remove him, self-defense. That's why he out right now. Texas law.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
Self-defense. Definitely self-defense. You put your at that point, I can do what I got to do to you. Point blank, period.
Okay, but keep in mind is that when black folks defend themselves, all of a sudden we're black racists and all this shit. Okay,
yeah,
just like when Black Panther,
they manipulate. They want to manipulate us.
Yes, sir. Just like when the Black Panther Party did its thing in 1967, and they was trying to pass that Mulfer Act, where you can't carry a gun in California, right? And when they had that old senile motherfucker who was your 40th president, who was the governor of California, oh no, well, there's no reason for nobody to carry a loaded gun. But you look at all these goddamn cowboys and stars and bars, go to places like Idaho and Oregon, and you see them hillbilly motherfuckers up there with their guns on the gun racks up in there.
It on me.
You see what I'm saying?
This is what they've been doing. I got a couple of people who had to defend themselves with lethal force, right? What they do is, you as a civilian, once you defend yourself, they come and snatch your guns from you, and they are literally letting these Negroes right back out. Like my little people just went to prom. He got shot at by 3 dudes in the van. They tried to shoot him in the legs and come stand over him. They missed. Police caught these dudes in the van with the guns. They took his mama gun because she fired a shot at him, and they released these little guys back on the streets. Caught them with the guns, red-handed. That's the game they playing.
Damn.
Now this is going to lead to something like a 90s gun ban. Back in the 90s, when cocaine hit the streets hard, they kids was getting smoked, breaking in cars. They kids getting smoked, breaking in houses. And what the black church and the black women do? Oh, we need some kind of ban. Man, it was like having the Taliban run the hood during that time. So
yeah, it was.
We were.
And then, brother, to prove your point even more, so look what happened down there in Charleston, South Carolina.
They only intervene because
and he goes down there, man, and kills the people right there, and the police take him to Burger King. Look at Philadelphia Steel.
But see, that's been worth a damn.
What people don't understand about churches is churches help with the oppression of our people because they get tax cuts to do it. If you read the 501c, it tells you that the church will oppress organizations like us.
Yep, it does.
Yep.
Read the 501c.
And funny you should say that because that clip you showed on Dr. Huey P. Newton, Brother Che, a couple of weeks back, is that that Newton said is that when they went off into the churches there in Oakland, you know, with the Black Panther Party, and he was saying is that they started using quote unquote dirty words, you know, the church kicked them out of there immediately.
Immediately.
You say, and then what had happened is that old senile bastard who was your governor of California and who was your 40th president gets up there and says there's no reason why anybody should be walking down the street with a loaded gun. Now, peep this. So then what had happened after that is that the Oakland Police Department and a California Highway Patrol start putting shotguns in a car, and they would stand them up over by their dashboard, so when you pass by them, you could see the shotgun, right? Now, get this. Guess what the LAPD did? The LAPD, they got 2 shotguns in a car for each officer when they come out. You see what I'm saying? So they are concealed. You see what I'm saying? And then when you had old Uncle Tom Bradley, who was LA's first black lieutenant, he was going up and down Central Avenue, man, beating the shit out of black folks. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Can you see the comment?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, they playing in people's face, Cody Bomber. Okay. Hold on, let's see the comment here. Okay, Brother Man 2, where was the governor when those planes crashed in Pennsylvania? Been more than 5 in the last 3 months alone. That's a damn good question. Now, what's up with that?
Right.
Say
it. See, fam. Let's see what else this bastard got to say.
Directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this.
The suspect now faces charges of attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault. He also may face federal charges. Nothing from authorities yet with a direct link on the holiday and whether or not this was targeted in that way. At the same time, the timing and the obvious target here does lead one to believe that there is either unbelievably bad timing or a connection.
Right. Police and the governor himself were careful not just to say we don't.
Let's see how quick they is to call this a hate crime. They're going to call this an anti-Semitic crime. Watch, I wouldn't even give it a week.
They've been trying to, they've been staying away from that. They've been staying away from that. I kid you not. They have been asking little questions like, they asked the question, was it because he was a Jew? They brought the Passover, all that. They won't say it's a hate crime because it's white on white. Understand, when the white folk went in protest, the lack of police involvement and the lack of arrest was a quiet unity between progressive, conservatives, LGBT, all of them, long as they white.
You're right. He's so right about
Exactly. Exactly. And
Right,
one thing, and I'm stating here publicly,
but I'm telling y'all, don't
if
put
I'm wrong, Brother Chase.
Don't put y'all trust in the Black Church. I'm telling you, because they are helping with the oppression. They get tax breaks. They get all type of stuff, man.
Right.
Yeah, that was that.
Right.
That was that fake initiative money, Brother Maurice, that George Bush Jr., Junior Bush, had passed in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. And then Joel Osteen, who had that mega church down in there when people was drowning in Hurricane Katrina, he closed up the church. He didn't allow people to come into the church.
Every hurricane that hit after Hurricane Katrina, he locked the damn doors to the church. How the hell is you supposed to be the
I look at it like this, y'all. Any church that's scared to teach the traditional Old Testament, they full of shit.
Right.
Anything outside of the Old Testament teaches you can lay with men, you can twerk in church. It's all about money. Buy me an airplane. Old Testament, fire and brimstone. Other than that, they can keep
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh, you talking about $12 now when that motherfucker got up there and said he needed a new.
If your pastor ain't talking like Geno Jennings, he is not a pastor.
Oh yeah, that's the man there, boy. I tell you. But they being paid to water it down, though. You know, Malcolm said that.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
like
now this is why I appreciate it.
George Bush, go ahead.
Yeah, and this is why I appreciated what New Era Detroit did, where they busted a jackleg, bullshitting older people out of their money, and they just went up there and whooped his ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Remember the one in Brooklyn? He got robbed right in the middle of a sermon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, flashing his money and his jewelry. Yeah.
See, the only pastor that I look at and respect is three things. One, this motherfucker's not going to be on, well, I don't mean to call a pastor ML, but one, he's not going to be on TV. Two is he will be a pastor of humble means. Now, what do I mean by that? If this dude is getting off into his limousine, his Rolls Royce, like old Reverend Ike used to do, everybody remember Reverend Ike. That's what I'm saying. Man, I don't need to see you.
Right.
But if he is a pastor of humble means, meaning that he is digging in his pocket to feed the homeless.
What happened is the church then became a business.
Yes, it has.
Exactly. Okay, just like that dude recently down there where he's telling everybody to close the doors, we need $40,000 right here. That dude need his ass whooped, man.
I agree.
Lucky I wasn't there. That's called kidnapping, especially if your family with you and you can use lethal force in Georgia when you kidnap. He'd have had me messed up. It would have made nationwide news, I'm telling you.
Yes, sir. No. That's the same thing in California as well, too. You see what I'm saying? Because that's kidnapping, that's extortion. Okay, now with him locking the doors goes to prove the intent of his kidnapping and his extortion, and you could use by any means necessary. This is why I appreciate what New Era Detroit did.
But West Coast and East Coast has no right to defend themselves. They really have only a duty to retreat.
Yeah. Now, funny you should say that. Okay, funny you should say that. Okay, is because somebody I know got into a conflict where this dude came up to him and hit him in the mouth, right? So the dude unleashed 4 right hands upside his head and damn near swallowed his eyes shut. So the police show up on the scene. Well, that's battery. Wait a minute, how's that man? How's that battery when that man was attacked first? Oh, well, self-defense means just putting up blocks and retreating.
Yeah, that's your duty to retreat. No, that's why I've been preaching to everybody. Get out of these cities and these states that don't allow, in particular, black folk to defend themselves. That is set up against black folk. That does not count for white people, I promise you.
Exactly. Precisely. You see what I'm saying? Precisely. See, the only thing, man, a state like California, one, is black men to be effeminized and black women to like girls. You see what I'm saying? And then just like old John Lewis, you know what I'm saying, with the good trouble where the nightstick and the nightstick glide gracefully upside his head at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, is going to sit up there and say, that's good trouble. Now, how's it good trouble, man? And you knocked in the head, okay? Then you're going to go into the U.S. Congress and sit on the fucking floor talking about some alphabetized agenda. Now, the alphabetized agenda, here's our disclaimer, Brother Che. You have your human rights and you have your civil rights, but you do not have the right to come up to a heterosexual man such as me telling me that the crack of your nasty, funky, stinking ass is a woman's womb. That is an insult to the sanctity of womanhood.
I agree. All right, y'all, let me finish this clip.
All right.
Don't know motive just yet. It's the first night of Passover. Governor Shapiro, of course, one of the highest profile Jewish politicians in our country. Yep. He also is someone who attracts the national attention because he's on Vice President Harris's short list to be her running mate last year, and is widely rumored to be a 2028 contender. Right. So he is someone with a high profile, and he spoke. We played a little bit of it there. He was very emotional at moments yesterday in that news conference, talking about the threat to his family, talking about his faith, and the photographs of the governor's residence there. The damage is extensive. This is not a small blaze. This was a significant fire. As you can see here, there's at least one picture that was going around that had some children's toys that were singed. You can see just devastation there in the governor's mansion. We're certainly grateful everyone is okay. We'll learn more about the suspects as the day goes on. Let's now bring in the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, again, to stipulate we don't have a motive yet, but we should put this in context. It is a moment where...
Sorry, y'all, I'm trying not to keep pausing it, but every time they triggering shit in me. So remember when the ADL refused to acknowledge the musty man doing that Nazi salute during the inauguration?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here they go. That's why I was like, I think they're gonna try to go with that anti-Semitism shit on a hate crime, and we still ain't got no anti-black hate crime bill or law.
Oh yeah, they posted did that when George Floyd died. They supposed to been passing a George Floyd Act for years now, and they still haven't went nowhere with it.
And
then also too, bro.
Again, hold on, Kamami, she at Tyree Nichols' funeral, she had said she was gonna make bite and sign it in the law, and Congress signed it in the law.
And didn't.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
So
they don't want blacks to be able to protect themselves, but I'm gonna protect myself. Shit, period.
Hey man, it's your human right, it's your manly right to protect yourself, brother. And if you ever get caught up in a case like that, man, hope I'm on your jury, man, because I'm gonna vote you not guilty.
Right.
And then when they get into the jury deliberations, like this one movie I saw, old time movie in the 50s called 12 Angry Men, right? And the people is up there saying that they got reasonable doubt. So the hypocrisy of these kangaroo courts is, well, he's got to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. So therefore, here's a man defending himself, protecting his family, protecting his children. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh, well, you're a criminal. You see what I'm saying? And all
well,
that.
I just have to be a criminal there.
Okay, like Brother Man down there, man. Okay, just like Brother Man down there, man, where he defended himself and he got bail. So they talking about already, well, it's reverse discrimination because there was a black judge that let him go. Okay, now for all you crackers out there that's saying, well, there's no longer...
Is they saying the same thing about Kyle Rittenhouse? Is they saying the same thing about Dylan Roof?
Thank you. Hell to the no. You see what I'm saying? That's precisely my point. Okay, and then the police, when they booked
Brother Man to you.
When they booked Dylan Roof, they took him to Burger King, man.
Yeah, they went and fed him. Exactly.
Warren his ass non-black parishioner.
This man walked up in a church and killed.
Now Black Joe says right here, Black Joe says here in the chat, we have to stop giving them emotional response and plan a long-range rebuttal. Memorize the number on the police cars and what time they patrol. Hail Mary pass, no marching or protesting. You know what, Black Joe? Funny you should say that. Because I told you, Brother Che, that man, when I got stopped by Crash in LA and the stop was illegal, right? And they're going to ask me, well, where the fuck you work? I don't work, I go to school. Well, what the fuck you study? Oh, glad you brought it up, man. Concepts of criminal law, civil rights in the law, political science, and business law. And they standing there looking dumbfounded. You know what I'm saying? And exactly. I started writing down the license number of the police vehicle, okay, and then the shop number on the vehicle. Well, what are you writing that down for? I says, because see, when you started your shift, officer, you had to sign for that car. You see what I'm saying? Is because see, they could in the personnel records of the LAPD, they'll assign you someplace else except for when you sign for that fucking car.
Right.
Well, you have a nice night. Yeah, but the key thing that I did is because I knew that they were going to pull me over. So therefore, I got to a well-lit intersection. You see? So in the event that I did become a casualty, you see what I'm saying? I'll be gone, but hopefully my loved ones will go up there and pick it up, you see? And this is why, like, when they have these speed limits in these hillbilly ass states, when it says 55, you give them 54. When I cross the state of Alabama, well, you're in Alabama, speed limit 65. I'm giving you 62. See?
Right.
And I visited the South because over the years, people said, well, Shabaka, when are you going to go into the South? I went to the South. I will not be returning to the South.
But Shabaka, that's your ancestral homeland, like it or not.
Okay, I understand that, Brother Che. I understand that because my people did slave in Alabama. Okay, but the fact of the matter is this: when they run these makes on you people, when you give them those internal passports called the driver's license, okay, they're checking you for once and once, but there's going to be special notes that come up about you. Is he a member of any black group? Is he a member of any gang? Is he a black identity extremist and all that old type of shit? You see what I'm saying? And this is why out here in the state of Nevada where I'm at, when it says 45 miles an hour, I give them 42. I give them 43. You see what I'm saying? Both hands on the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, because see, you got physical warfare, you also have psychological warfare, and you also have spiritual warfare. Yeah, say that's what unites the plane of, what did you call it, Brother Che? The plane of human existence or something like that. Now, when I look at a sick-ass motherfucker like Sigmund Freud, who was a practicing homosexual and a dope fiend, right? And you're going to tell me that this dude here is an expert on psychology, right? Now, why is it that a whole lot of these crazy motherfuckers call themselves psychologists? You don't never know what the fuck is on a dude's mind, man. And then Sigmund Freud, man, who was a practicing homosexual and a damn dope fiend. And I'm looking at this motherfucker like, well, he's an expert, all that. Man, you better get your crazy ass away from me, man, like that crazy motherfucker, man, that we had up there last night, Brother Che. Killed his mom and daddy because he wanted to support Trump or some bullshit, man. And you look at that motherfucker's eye, he look crazy as hell.
No, he wanted to pay somebody to assassinate Trump with their life insurance money.
Damn. Okay, now here's
and gentlemen, real quick. Throughout the years, I mean, this going back to the civil rights movement, every confrontation has been heads up, you know, straight heads up. Yeah. Now, we at a point in this day and age where they ain't even respect Puffy $50 million bail. They ain't respect nobody's money. My grandma used to say they only respect blood and money. They do not respect money no more. Now, I'm finna just put some stats in here on that. At 100 yards, a 9mm bullet, 115 grains, only drops 1 inch. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and then I got to go see if I can get my gun rights back. It's because I got into a confrontation in Los Angeles and they straight disarmed me. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I'm anti-Boule right there, because them Boule, ambulance chasing lawyers, they could have been doing this for our community.
Exactly. Right. Now, glad you brought up a lawyer. There was one lawyer who I will always respect and give the utmost to. He's dead now. His name was Johnny Cochran in Los Angeles. And Johnny Cochran had taken a whole lot of cases pro bono, man, for the black community. You see what I'm saying? Particularly after the Deadweiler case, you see? And then, you know, and Johnny Cochran was, what's that there, Brother Che, that he was getting ready to write up the information for the reparations. And then all of a sudden, I hear that Johnny Cochran is dead.
Yeah, he was going to sue back then. He was going to sue the United States government. It was him and a couple other people. They were going to sue the United States government for chattel slavery, for reparations.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? And then, and any people, and our haters are welcome to come in here on this live stream, and you know who I'm reaching out to is old Regal. You know, where you at, Regal? I know. Regal's a troll, and Regal gets owned every fucking time he comes up here with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
We dropped the link for his punk ass. He didn't even get on.
Yeah, right. Talking about he coming out here to Las Vegas to deal with me. You don't want to do that, Mr. Regal. No. No. And keep in mind, And one thing, and me and Brother Che, we go through this here all the time. When we disagree, gentlemen, we disagree agreeably.
There you go. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, see? And okay. Joe says, by the way, let's talk about the current administration expunging records if you've been 12 years crime-free, basically gun rights back. If it get more dry. Oh, okay. All right, Joe, I appreciate that. That applies to me, man, because let me see. The record that I had the situation with, man, is 20 years old. Okay.
That's beyond the limitations.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
You should be able to petition the district attorney to get your record expunged.
Yes, sir. Now, keep in mind is that what I did, I moved from California. This case happened in California, but I moved from California to Nevada. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm a citizen of Nevada, and I cannot wait until that raggedy ass state of California shakes off into the fucking Pacific Ocean, man, and then have the coast of Nevada. California is sick. You know what I'm saying?
Earthquakes like that.
Yeah, and then they got hit with a 5.2 quake, or what was that, yesterday or the day before? Okay, that'll wake you up. That'll wake you up. It'll wake you up. Now, as far as the 3.5s, the 2.0s, man, I've slept through so many of them damn things, it's pathetic. But when that bad boy hit 7, and then the first thing that you do as soon as it stops shaking, man, go get water. Go get bottled water. You know, steal it if you have to. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. You see, because you got a right to live. Okay, and then
at least you have a property down there in Sin City. You know, if that happens, if them. What do you call it? Tectonic plate shift in the Andreas Fault, Cali.
Yes, sir. And what you would do, and if you ever got on a plane, Lightning, and you sit on the right side of the plane, man, if from LA to San Francisco, you could literally look down there and see the fault line. That's just how fucked up it is. And keep in mind is that the fault line goes directly under the city of San Francisco.
I can see it flying into San Francisco.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a crack like that finna split Africa in half, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
They got popping up.
Really?
The Eastern Horn.
Fault in Africa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, Al-Kibalan. Because as we all know, is that there was a Greek dude named Africanus that called it Africa. You see what I'm saying? So I don't pay the Greeks no mind because, see, those were plagiarizers. Dr. Ashwa Kwesi, Earth calling Dr. Ashwa Kwesi. Dr. Kwesi, if you see us, man, please get in touch with us, brother. We know you got a very, very strict, huh?
I'm subscribed to his channel.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Please reach out to him, man. Because we need some Dr. Ashwa. You know what I'm saying? And then also, too, is that what my attitude is to hell with Hollywood, okay? Los Angeles, which is the city of Los Angeles, everybody needs to see a film called The Imitation of Life, okay?
You know,
if you haven't seen it already, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to make you cry. And if you see that film and you don't feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't human.
I don't know what to tell you. You say
so imitation of life, you say?
Imitation of life. The year they made it was Life. L-I-F-E. Okay. It was made in the year 1959, and it starred in the movie actress Juanita Moore. And everybody saw the Mac, and Juanita Moore is the one that played Goldie's mother and the Mac. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But she's in it. And what had happened is that her daughter was filled with so much self-hate that she broke her mother's heart and killed her.
Right.
You see? Yeah, she was filled with so much self-hate, hatred of self. You see what I'm saying?
Thank you for sharing that,
And it's
Black
really
Joe.
sad, really, really sad.
What year again was that? 19 what?
1959, Dynamite.
What? Dang, that's your birth year.
1959.
The easy one to remember.
Yeah. And then too, huh?
I'm gonna have to look that one up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but prepare yourself, brother. If you haven't seen it before, prepare yourself, man. Prepare yourself. Because the self-hatred
with that, John, I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna go live with that.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Oh. You know, and then the cold part about it is, now get this here. Now this is for you bed wenches. Okay. There's a scene in the movie where the white boy, okay, she was dating this white boy, right? And the white boy came up to her and said, "Is it true that you're black? That you're black?" And he starts beating her. You see what I'm saying? You see, in the movie. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And what have you? And then she goes, tells her mother, "Why did you have to be my mama?" And oh, man, let's talk about something else, man. That shit bumming me out. But just check it out, man. Get with me at another date, you know.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you definitely should see it. It's called Goodbye, Uncle Tom.
Oh, yeah, I'm halfway through Goodbye, Uncle Tom, and I'm going to have to get through the other half, man, is because when I saw what they was doing to the brothers there and the sisters, you know, when I saw that old nasty-ass, Trump-looking white man laying with a 14-year-old girl, man, I almost tore my own damn computer. So I have to finish that. And thank you for reminding me too, Brother Che. You see?
You're welcome. Now getting back to this cracker
and they don't
from the jail, now all of a sudden they want to do something because Josh Shapiro's house got arsoned, firebombed.
Hate crimes of all sorts have risen across our country in recent years, particularly those, though, connected to anti-Semitism. And this was a very scary moment that, without some quick thinking reaction by Pennsylvania state troopers, could have cost lives.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think you're right to point out, first and foremost, we don't know the motive, right? We can't yet speculate as to what went on. Was it just timing or something else? But there's a reason why this struck home for so many Jewish people. Right? This is the Passover holiday. This is a time when we've often seen anti-Semitic attacks, from the shooting in Poway in 2019 to throughout history. And so to see, as you said, Jonathan, one of the most high-profile Jewish politicians in America in a targeted attack that literally could have taken his life of his wife and his small children, it's just unacceptable. You know, violence shouldn't be the price of public service. I think we all need to look in the mirror because, yes, he's a prominent Jewish politician.
Yeah, brother,
yes,
man,
he's a
too.
Democrat.
Yeah, Mahalia Jackson is in that film.
Anti-American, setting fire to the home of a governor. It should be unacceptable, irrespective of how they might affiliate politically.
Jonathan, this doesn't take place in a vacuum. Anti-Semitism, as you know better than anybody, is on the rise by any and every measure. What needs to be done? And what could be done, how do I put it, in response to this to hopefully make a significant...
This motherfucker did not just... You know what else is on the rise, goddammit, and been on the rise for at least 500 goddamn years? Anti-black motherfucking hatred.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hell, the casual killing act.
Pushback.
Look, it's good that FBI Director Kash Patel reached out to Governor Shapiro yesterday and said the federal government plans to put their full authority behind this. We need politicians on both sides of the aisle to call this up, but there's something else.
Well, it looked like
we
he
need
ruined
people of all
breakfast for that
faiths to call this
motherfucker.
out. Again, yes, Governor Shapiro is Jewish, but it's an anti-American attack. So I think what we really need, Richard, is people, no matter how they pray or where they're from, to say this can't happen in our country.
So from a pure just what it feels like to be an American, waking up to footage like this.
Yeah.
You know, I just think about how my parents moved from the Philippines.
Well, try being black
that
in
is a
America,
country that is
motherfucker, in the
riven
1960s,
by-
man. So you kiss my ass with that bullshit.
Right.
Go look at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, you no good motherfucker. Also, too, go look at that frog face son of a bitch, George Wilder. Look what they did to the Black Panthers.
To the punch. I was just about to say something. Yeah, beat me to the punch. I was just about to say something serious, similar to what you just said.
Yeah, frog face bastard. You know what I'm saying? Fuck frog face.
I wonder if it was
he's kind of full of photos.
I wonder if that was a setup, like, you know, they like sometimes they'll make a false narrative, like a gun law or something like that. There, you know, like for one, what sounds so suspicious to me is that if somebody firebombs your house, somebody can ring the doorbell and wake you up. You would think that the firebomb woke your ass up. So I don't actually believe it. I'm like, they go on it for one, and then they get a bill or something passed. Number two, right behind it. I actually think that's some suspiciousness going on with that for real.
You know what, Lightning? I wouldn't put shit past these no good crooked ass bastards. I wouldn't put shit past them. I don't put nothing past these no good ass motherfucking troglodytes. Well, Shabaka, that's black racism, guy. Motherfuckers, we ain't in no goddamn position to implement no motherfucking black racism. We don't control no industry. We damn sure don't control the social media shit. We don't control no goddamn police departments. You see what I'm saying? And then when we did try to go out there and exercise the Second Amendment like what the Panthers did in 1966, oh no. Those are black racists. And what did that old senile motherfucker say, Reagan? There's no reason why anybody should be going out here with a loaded gun. Then, if that's the case, motherfucker, then disarm the goddamn Los Angeles Police Department.
All of them. All of them. The gun, all of them.
Exactly.
Take all their guns.
Shit. Look at the sacrifice Christopher Dorner made.
Right.
I'll tell you what they need to do. Let's make it all fair for everybody. Take all the guns away from everybody. White, black, all do that. And then see who gonna try somebody. Cause I'm gonna tell you, they know they can't whip us with their hands.
Yeah. Or any other type of improvised devices.
You the speech too, you know. Let's disarm them with the police. Start with them. And start with the military, you know, and then the other militaries around the world. And then the Black Panthers, we could watch over everything, you know. But they're not gonna do that because they're scared, you know. They don't want to fight.
Oh, exactly. And then keep in mind, looking at that hypocritical document called the U.S. Constitution, the Second Amendment. This right is not to be infringed, okay? Now, what did old George Washington said is that the people have a right to form a militia to prevent anybody from abusing them. They say, that was way back then and all that. Okay, black man, just go shove ketchup up your ass talking about you having a menstrual cycle. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Let's see what you're about to say.
I mean, bro, I got to laugh to keep from crying,
like that,
man. You know what I'm saying?
And they left to be in a place that doesn't have those scenes all of the time. So from a pure perspective of what it feels like from a rule of law perspective, Jonathan,
that's right.
From a what does it feel like to be an American right now, you've been balancing quite a bit when it comes to due process on one hand with arrests and deportations and now this.
Yeah.
And I wonder what your brain looks like when you're trying to navigate, how do I message when I'm trying to be balanced across all of these subjects that sort of have a through line?
Now, keep in mind, that ain't one motherfucker in there on this bullshit ass show right here is going to turn in his motherfucking gun.
Hell no.
But you want us to disarm ourselves.
No mention about that goddamn
And keep in
nonsense.
mind, this bald-headed motherfucker ain't turning in his guns. The Asian dude ain't turning in his gun. The house nigga they might have sitting up in there, that motherfucker, he'll be the first to turn in his gun. Zippity-dee-dah, zippity-dee-dah. I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. Hell, man, I got to laugh to keep from crying, man. This shit is crazy. It's insanity.
It is.
Okay,
Everything feels scrambled in many ways, but this drives home that this kind of violence has no.
This same motherfucker that was coming after our brother Kyrie Irving. For sharing a link to a film on Twitter.
Yeah.
No place. We should be able to protect the civil rights of the governor of Pennsylvania or students on campuses without trampling other people's civil rights. That shouldn't be too hard.
What about protecting the lives of black people? What about protecting the lives of black folks?
That part. Now, that's the part that I'm interested in.
What about protecting the lives of our people? Try that for
exactly.
The only reason why
sir.
there's civil rights.
You see what I'm saying?
FBA. That's the only reason why there's civil rights. There wouldn't be no goddamn civil rights. It's a white ethno state. The Bill of Rights don't apply to your black ass. They got specific amendments that apply to your black ass, though. And can you guess what those are? The 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments.
Now, answer me this here, Brother Che. You know where I'm going, okay? When did we, as a people, petition the U.S. government to be citizens in this motherfucker?
After the Civil War, Shabaka.
Okay. Now, let me make sure I understand this. So we got together a petition amongst black folk that we signed as registered voters to go before these kangaroo courts and this hypocritical Congress to be citizens. They never highlight nor mention anti-black, but always highlight everyone else. Yeah, brother man, to you right.
Yep.
You right. Now, keep in mind, Brother Che, now here's some more cannon fodder for you, Brother Che, against me. We all pay taxes.
Yep.
Okay, just like the goddamn Federal Reserve, goddamn it, went up there and stole all the money from the motherfucking Freedman's Bank and started the Federal Reserve. Well, what's their justification? Oh, these niggas is too damn stupid to know how to count money. Shit. I bet you, everybody knows grandma knows how to count money. Grandma know how to count her some money.
Hell yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then the part that kills me, now here's something else more perverse, black family. These crackers hate white folk. I mean, these crackers hate us so much, but yet though, you white men want to go take our 14, 13-year-old girls and have Black Friday and make them bed wenches. And we supposed to be okay with that shit?
He said in California.
Tomorrow is DC Emancipation Day too. DC Emancipation Day tomorrow, and today the tax deadline. Since you mentioned it, I was like, oh, yep, sure enough. Gotta pay.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know them no good crooked bastards no more money.
Mr. Taxes they ship you to El Salvador. I mean,
okay, now Brother Man says at 1865 didn't become effective until 1868. Okay, Black Joe. The only way to play them, oh man, could you please put his comment back up there? Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, yeah. The only way to play them is to be Green Mile in person and dead shot in private. Fucked up but true. Recon. That's right, reconnaissance. Everybody do recon on us and strike when it's the best time. Something we must learn from the enemy. We have learned everything else from them demons. Now, Joe, you got a point on that right there. Now, here's a question for you folks. And who was the motherfucker I was arguing with? Wait a minute. Okay. The Vietnam conflict, right? Okay. You know why the U.S. lost Vietnam? because they went inside somebody's house, right? Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Shabaka.
You see, there you go.
Question, you posed another question. So let's get to the answer to the question that you posed earlier about when did we, as a people, petition the United States government to become citizens. Brother man, to you said 1965, but it didn't become effective till 1868. And he said he thought the tax day passed April 15th.
General Sherman's Field Order 15.
Yep.
40 acres of
Okay. And then keep in mind is that they went up there and they let them motherfuckers pay reparations to the damn slave traders who was holding our black asses. You see what I'm saying?
$300 each for each slave.
Yeah, ain't that a bitch? Yeah, and now keep in mind under that damn Fugitive Slave Act, right? Now this is how the police got formed. The police are policy enforcers. They have no legal duty to protect you. They say they were slave catchers.
Yep.
See, and let's say that we were all down there slaves in the great state of Georgia with old Lester Maddox, right? And we say, hey, guess what, fellas? In California, they got gold, man, so we're going to go get us some of that gold, right? Them slave patrollers had the legal right to cross all them state lines and they'd catch up with our asses after we tied in the motherfucker mining and panning that gold and shit. Well, guess what? You all are slaves. How did we get back to the plantation? We didn't ride no stagecoach. We didn't ride on no motherfucking train. We damn sure didn't ride horseback. We walked.
Yep.
We walked.
All right, Shabaka, it's like 2 minutes left of this Morning Joe bullshit, and then we can move on.
Let's see what this raggedy motherfucker
Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, thank you. And by the way, it's obviously a good sign the head of the FBI is promising a full investigation. But to Jonathan Greenblatt's point, have we heard from leaders in this country? Have we heard from the President of the United States on this attack on the home and the family of one of the nation's governors?
We have not heard from President Trump. We did. FBI Director Patel reached out, as noted. The Attorney General Pam Bondi put out a statement. We did hear from the Vice President, who said it was really, quote, disgusting violence. But President Trump, who posted on Truth Social repeatedly yesterday, including about 60 Minutes more than once, did not say anything. And when he was asked about it on Air Force One last night, flying back from Florida, a reporter asked him in the back of the plane. He simply said, quote, I just heard about it. I'll have to look into it. Quick follow-up to you, actually, Jonathan, before you go. I mean, shouldn't the President of the United States, wouldn't it be important for the President of the United States, who at times has been accused of dealing with anti-Semitic tropes, who at times has been accused of fostering violence, and we don't know motives here, but wouldn't it mean something if he were to condemn this?
Look, I'm sure that he will. I hope that he will. I'm glad the AG did. I'm glad the FBI director did. And again, irrespective of how they feel, we need all politicians call it out.
You sure he will? Motherfucker, you still ain't acknowledge that Elon Musk, the musty man, did a damn Nazi salute during the inauguration.
Yeah, stinky bird. Yeah.
All right, let's see what this motherfucker look like.
Yeah, old stinky bird. And then, dude, let me say this here, Black family, before we move on, Brother Che, you know I'm getting ready to go. Elon Musk is not an African. He is a fucking Boer. He is Dutch. Understand?
He's Canadian.
Because ain't nobody going to sit up there and tell me that motherfucker is an African.
He said hasn't been. They consider him African American. That's why we can no longer associate with that term.
Well, then them some stupid motherfuckers. Then they might as well, Brother Che, go shove ketchup up their ass with a 5 o'clock shadow and say that they're women.
Yeah. Okay, Brother Mantiu says hasn't been a month yet, but part of the Interstate Highway 95 in PA also collapsed. So a lot is going on in PA besides other states in places.
Mm.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Well, remember what was it? The end of last
Okay.
year, the Francis Scott
Yeah, you
Key
talking about
bridge
when the
collapsed.
ship hit the bridge, right?
Yeah, but that was in Maryland. That wasn't in Pennsylvania. That was in Maryland.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, let's see what this crazy, deranged, demonic-looking motherfucker that did this shit look like. And
No, he look crazy as hell.
Setting fire to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence in Harrisburg.
You can see the damage that part of the mansion suffered early yesterday morning. Shapiro and his family were home at the time.
Yeah, it's terrifying. New at 10, we're getting our first look at the suspect. 38-year-old Cody Balmer in his newly released mugshot. This coming as court documents shed new light on just how this attack unfolded.
Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live in the Satellite Center with the latest details. This is so disturbing, Catherine.
It is disturbing, and authorities say Cody Balmer confessed and told authorities that he would have attacked ship with a hammer had he found them. This all remains under investigation.
Reporting a large fire in the dining room on the first floor. They can see fire out the windows.
New details released today about the arson attack early Sunday morning at the governor's mansion in Harrisburg that forced Governor Josh Shapiro and his family to evacuate. Just hours before the fire, the family had celebrated Passover in this dining room that now sits in ruins.
We experienced an attack not just on our family, but on the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Court documents state that 38-year-old Cody Balmer of Harrisburg admitted to harboring hatred toward the governor. In an interview with investigators, Balmer said he removed gasoline from his lawnmower and poured it into 2 Heineken bottles. Authorities say Balmer later walked an hour
Sound like that motherfucker was getting drunk on the job, huh?
Broke 2 windows with a hammer and threw the Molotov cocktails he made inside.
State troopers assigned to our detail banged on our door, woke us up and told us we had an emergency and needed to leave immediately.
According to court documents, after Balmer fled, he contacted an old girlfriend who called the police. She said Balmer confessed and said he wanted her to tell law enforcement. A short time later, Balmer turned himself in. Sources tell ABC News that Balmer is a mechanic who expressed disdain for Democrats in the past, primarily related to financial issues. Investigators are not ruling out Shapiro's Jewish faith as a motivating factor.
The charges will include attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson.
If this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured, I will find a way to work even harder.
Ain't no African American.
And police say due to a medical event not related to his arrest or the incident, Balmer was taken to the hospital where he's being treated. He remains under police supervision. Once he's released, he'll be taken to prison for his arraignment.
That goddamn Jesse Jackson that brought us that damn African American term, Shabaka. That is not how we identify.
Fuck Jesse Jackson. I am somebody. I might be black, I don't know who but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. Man, I saw that motherfucker with that bullshit in L.A. at Watt Stacks in 1972. Man, fuck that motherfucker. That's why I appreciated when he went over there to Ferguson and him and some other scrub go over there, man, and the thugs told him, look, man, get up out of here with this bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A Dutch African father. He's a boy. Dutch was some hateful motherfuckers.
He said again, where was the security? That's a good question, brother man, to you. Where was the security?
Okay. Or did he have any? Man, it was probably off somewhere getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, man? They probably, man, went and got some Hunter Biden stash.
Yeah, they sent Cody to the hospital. Cody Bombs. They sent him to the hospital, not jail.
And not jail.
They also say they tried to get him some help a couple of weeks beforehand, and when he did his interview, he like, hey, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm on sound mind, and I was gonna beat his brains in with a baby sledgehammer. Man, everybody need to get their stuff in order. Get your protection and your defense in order.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now keep in mind, in California, what they would do with this crazy motherfucker, right, is that he would plead insanity. They'll throw his ass up there in Vacaville or the Napa State Hospital up there by where all that them wine vineyards are. You see what I mean? And then they'll leave his ass in there. Then they'll declare his ass sane, and then they'll send that motherfucker to trial saying that he's sane. How come they ain't got a law like that there in Pennsylvania? Let that motherfucker go in the nut house for 2 weeks, declare him sane, and then put that motherfucker there in jail. Yeah, you right about that there, brother, man. Only white people, white privilege is something else. Damn, yeah, it is.
$1 million worth of whiteness. Like Tariq always says, they have $1 million worth of whiteness.
Yes, sir. You know? Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, Shabaka. So you also wanted to discuss what was happening in Namibia. What is the original name of Namibia, Shabaka?
Okay, enlighten me, brother.
Southwest Germany.
Oh, yeah. Okay, just like how they had French West Africa. Yeah. Southwest Germany, with that Berlin Conference shit they did there in 1888. So hopefully the head of state over there in Namibia is saying that motherfuckers got to have their visas in order. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So more power to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
We're gonna date from the first point. Yeah.
Okay, that is from Black Culture Diary.
Yeah, I'll probably play the Black Culture Diary because the other one is given from a European looking broad. This one is from a brother from somewhere in Africa.
All right.
Did Namibia just make one of the boldest moves in African travel policy? Imagine being able to stroll into one of Africa's most scenic nations without a visa. Well, not anymore.
And staying in the region for years, American and Western travelers have enjoyed easy, visa-free access to many African nations. But now Namibia is flipping the script in a move that signals growing frustration over unequal travel policies. The country is introducing new visa requirements for U.S. and other Western allies.
For years, U.S. citizens, along with nationals from over 30 other countries, have been able to pack their bags and step onto Namibian soil without much thought. No paperwork, no waiting. Just a simple flight to one of Africa's most picturesque destinations. But this easy access is about to change. Starting from April 1st, 2025, Namibia will no longer offer visa-free entry to U.S. citizens and nationals from a long list of other countries. Countries like the U.S., UK, Canada, and most of Europe. The announcement marks a pivotal shift,
that motherfucker look
both
like
in
Los
Namibia's
Angeles
international
right there.
relations and its stance on global travel. But why is Namibia, known for its liberal visa policies, making this drastic move now? And what does it mean for travelers and global relations? Let's find out. As Namibia takes a bold step toward redefining its approach to international relations, travelers from 33 nations, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and most European countries, are now facing a shift in their travel plans. For those accustomed to enjoying seamless entry into Namibia, the change to the visa policy could come as a shock. What was once a smooth and straightforward process is now a game of paperwork and planning. The new visa requirement, effective from April 1st, 2025, introduces a system where U.S. citizens and nationals from the affected countries must apply for a visa before visiting Namibia. This is a shift away from the country's previous liberal visa policies, where visitors could simply arrive without a visa and immerse themselves in Namibia's vast, natural beauty. But what does this mean for travelers? How should they prepare for a trip to one of Africa's most stunning countries? First, it's crucial to understand the new visa on arrival and e-visa process. Travelers no longer have the luxury of simply hopping on
I'll comment on that there in a minute, brother man, to you.
Instead, they will need to apply for a visa either before departure or upon arrival, depending on their preference. The visa on arrival option allows travelers to get their tourist visa once they land in Namibia. This process requires travelers to fill out an application and pay the required fees at the airport. While this offers some convenience, it's important to note that there could be long wait times and paperwork to complete once on the ground. For travelers who prefer to avoid potential delays or complications at the airport, the e-visa portal provides an alternative. The e-visa system allows applicants to submit their visa applications online. Travelers can access the portal, fill out the necessary details, and pay the fees digitally. Once approved, they can carry a printed version of their e-visa approval and head directly to Namibia without the need for further processing at the airport. It's a streamlined option for those who want to avoid the uncertainties of visa on arrival processing, but travelers are still encouraged to apply well in advance, as approval may take several days, and missing this window could lead to unnecessary delays. While this is a significant adjustment for travelers, it's important to be aware of the specific requirements for each nationality. The change impacts citizens from 33 countries, with U.S. nationals among the largest group affected. For American travelers, the new visa system means a departure from the seamless entry they have enjoyed for years. European nationals enjoyed the privilege of traveling freely across borders with minimal hassle. Their passports, often stamped with ease, allowed them to enter countries without the need for complicated visa applications or pre-departure paperwork. But this privilege, long taken for granted, is now becoming a distant memory as Namibia implements stricter border control measures. Today, many European travelers find themselves caught in a system where the visa process has become a mandatory pre-departure step, something Africans have known all too well for decades. The imbalance in travel privileges has long been glaring, with African citizens facing lengthy visa applications, multiple requirements, and constant scrutiny when trying to enter European countries.
Well, that's a nice
For
looking
Africans,
sister right
the visa
there.
process isn't just a formality, it's often a financial and bureaucratic barrier that discourages travel and reinforces historical power dynamics. But if Europeans are now forced to deal with the same visa systems and barriers that Africans have had to navigate for years, perhaps it's a step toward greater equality. It's time for European nationals to experience firsthand the challenges that many African travelers face every day. After all, fairness demands reciprocity. But the West didn't take it lightly. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
Like and subscribe and share Front Line Blacc news, man. Oh my.
Let's continue now. Western governments, and the tourism sector in particular, argue that these new visa policies are not only inconvenient for travelers, but also threaten the livelihood of entire economies that depend on tourism. Namibia, with its spectacular landscapes, wildlife, and cultural richness, stands as a prime example.
That looks like damn desert out
Namibia's
here.
tourism sector has long been an essential driver of its economic growth. For years, tourists
that
from the
motherfucker
U.S.,
look like
Europe,
salt
and other
flats.
Western regions have made a long journey to see the nation's natural wonders. From the iconic dunes of Sossusvlei to the sprawling wildlife-rich Etosha National Park, Namibia has been a favorite destination for adventure and ecotourism. The
They got
pristine coastal
seals
town
there?
of Swakopmund, offering a blend of German colonial architecture and vibrant desert scenery,
German
has also attracted
colonial
countless visitors.
architect.
These travelers are crucial to Namibia's tourism economy, contributing millions in foreign currency and supporting jobs across various industries, from hospitality to transportation and retail. Namibia's GDP is heavily reliant on tourism, with the sector accounting for a
Now, that
significant
could be a
portion of the
problem.
country's income. According to Namibia's tourism ministry,
Whoa,
the
that
industry
brother there look
directly
like he from
contributes
New
around
York or
15
South
to
Central
20%
LA.
of the GDP, with thousands of jobs dependent on the steady influx of international tourists.
brother man wants some
Moreover,
kind of
these
wildlife.
visitors often come for extended stays, spending money on accommodations, guided tours, local goods, and services, all of which help boost the national economy. The idea that Western travelers, who once enjoyed relatively easy access to Namibia,
Gazelles
might now
right
face
there.
more hurdles to visit has raised
Now,
alarm in
where's
both
the
the government
Panthers at?
and business sectors. The West, particularly the U.S. and European countries, has long dominated global tourism patterns. For many years, people from these regions had the luxury of traveling across borders with minimal bureaucratic hurdles. A passport from a Western nation typically guarantees easy entry into most countries, including many African nations. But as African countries, including Namibia, respond to the growing number of stringent visa policies imposed on their citizens by Western countries, the tables have started to turn.
No, Black Panthers,
Countries like
brother,
Namibia
man.
have begun
Panthers
implementing
is
their
black.
visa systems for Western nationals, forcing them to adhere to the same regulations
His first
that African
cousin is the
travelers have been
leopard.
subjected to for decades.
Yeah.
While this move may seem like a natural response to the inequality in travel access, the reaction from the West has been swift and loud. Tourism organizations, airlines, and travel agencies have raised concerns about the potential damage to the Namibian tourism sector. They argue that the imposition of these visa policies will discourage travelers from visiting, especially from long-haul markets such as the U.S. and Europe, where Namibia's main tourist markets lie. Western tourists, used to the ease of travel,
it's all
may be
good,
put
brother
off by
man,
the
to
added
you. Yeah,
complication
it's
of
all
obtaining a
good.
visa, even if it is a small inconvenience in the grand scheme of international travel. The tourism industry's concerns are valid, as international travel and tourism have always been integral to the global economy.
A little bit.
According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, WTTC, the global tourism industry.
That's the Kalahari.
Yeah, the Kalahari Desert, yeah.
It stretches from South Africa up to, what is that? What's north of Namibia, Shabaka? Angola.
Yeah, okay. All right. So it goes from Azania to Matamba. Okay.
Yep.
All righty. Azania being South Africa, Mutamba being Angola. Okay.
Contributes 10.4% of global GDP and creates millions of jobs worldwide. In Namibia, this industry has been a major player in generating employment, supporting small businesses, and encouraging infrastructure development in rural areas.
What's
in addition,
Africana?
Long-haul travelers from Western countries tend to stay longer and spend more money compared to those from neighboring.
Africana is they wish they was African. As you could clearly tell, they're not no goddamn African. They're European colonizer invaders.
Oh, Boers. Oh, okay.
And for generations.
Okay, Boers. Okay, all righty. Okay. Let the sun burn they stinking asses.
Regions,
and by the way, all Boers and all you cockazoids, summer is coming up here in Las Vegas. Come sit in the sun with me when we have a wind chill of 128 degrees. But you got to leave your sunscreen at home.
Namibia gets up to easily over 30 degrees Celsius.
All right. So what's that temp wise? 110, 120?
About 100, 110.
Oh, wow. They don't sound too cool over there, huh?
I think you can get all the way up to 50 degrees Celsius.
Okay, yeah, they don't sound too cool over there. So everybody's up there getting that sunlight, getting vitamin D they need real bad. Okay.
120, 100.
Okay. And then Boers and Europeans go there, sit out in the sun, but please leave your sunscreen at home, so therefore your skin will shed like your first cousin that is called a snake. Now, Black family, what color is a snake on its belly?
White, Shabaka.
I can't hear you. In my Sergeant Carter voice.
White.
It's white. Wow. Now, what does the snake skin do? It sheds, right?
Yep.
Sound like them motherfuckers is first cousins to me. No, brother man, too. That's desert scenery, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, but that's why it's the desert. Did I see surfboards with these white folks in the damn desert? Damn.
They trying to ski on the damn. You can't ski on no damn dune. The fuck?
Damn.
They're dune trying to ski on a desert dune. Got snowboards out there. Why the hell you got a snowboard out there? These crackers are something else. Let me finish the video, Shabaki.
All right.
So with fairness in mind, the same visa processes that many African travelers endure when attempting to visit Western countries should now be applied to those from Europe and the U.S. For decades, African nations have had to contend with the inequity of travel restrictions, which have often hindered the movement of their citizens across the globe. Whether it's the bureaucratic hurdles or the long waits for visa approvals, African travelers have had to navigate a system that is often biased and difficult to navigate. Western tourists, on the other hand, have enjoyed the luxury of relatively easy travel, with many countries offering visa on arrival or visa-free access to Western passport holders. For Africans, this disparity has been a painful reality, especially for those who wish to experience the cultural and economic opportunities that the West has to offer. Now that the tides are beginning to shift, with African countries like Namibia instituting their visa requirements for Western nationals, the balance is starting to be addressed. It's not about making life difficult for travelers, but rather ensuring that fairness and reciprocity are the guiding principles in global travel. What Namibia's government and other African nations are signaling is a simple yet powerful message. If Western travelers expect to visit African countries freely, they must also experience the same challenges and restrictions that African travelers face when attempting to visit the West. This is about creating an equal playing field, where visa policies are not one-sided and are based on the principle of fairness.
Well, brother
After
man, yeah,
all,
I'm sure
Africa
that
is not a
they got a
playground for
winner
tourists.
as
It is a
well
continent
too.
of
But keep
diverse
in mind
nations,
they're below the
cultures,
equator,
and people who
and the
deserve to be
seasons
treated
are
with the same
inverted.
respect and
So when
fairness
it's
as
summer
those from the
here,
West.
it's winter
But
there.
what does this
When it's
mean?
winter there, it's summer here. Because they're below the equator.
For the economic stability of Namibia's tourism sector? Will this policy change lead to a sharp decline in the number of international visitors? The answer is not straightforward. For many long-haul travelers,
There's some
the addition
snow
of a visa
bunnies.
requirement could be seen as an inconvenience or an extra hurdle. For others, it might even be a deterrent, especially for those used to the ease of visa-free entry. As a result, the Namibian government could see a drop in visitor numbers from certain regions, especially if the hassle of obtaining a visa becomes a barrier to entry. On the other hand, there is potential for this policy shift to be part of a larger strategy to reshape the tourist market and attract different kinds of visitors. Namibia is known for its vast wilderness, breathtaking landscapes, and incredible wildlife, and the country can refocus its tourism efforts to target regions less impacted by these visa changes. Additionally, Namibia may look to promote its tourism through other avenues, more aggressive marketing campaigns, new attractions, and stronger regional partnerships with countries that are not affected by the new visa rules. By diversifying its tourism offerings and catering to more easily accessible markets, Namibia might be able to offset any downturn in arrivals from traditional source countries. Despite these challenges, the broader implication of this policy change goes beyond just numbers and revenue. It signals
Yeah,
a
there's
shift
the
toward greater
Panther's first
control
cousin
over who
right
enters
there, the
Namibia and
leopard.
under what circumstances.
Wow. Namibia.
While the country's government has expressed a desire to safeguard national security and maintain strict control over migration, the policy change also mirrors a growing trend among African nations to assert sovereignty over their immigration systems. Just as other African countries are reevaluating their relationships with former colonial powers and Western nations, Namibia
Oh
is
yeah,
making
I've
a
seen
clear
pictures
statement
of
about
Mount
self-determination
Kilimanjaro.
in the face of unequal
You
global
know,
mobility
that had
policies.
snow on it, brother
Moreover,
man.
it's worth considering how this move could affect travelers' perceptions of Namibia. Tourists who once viewed the country as an easy destination for a getaway might now rethink their plans. The hassle of obtaining a visa could be seen as a minor inconvenience, or it could serve as a significant deterrent. For those who already had trips booked or in the works, the change may feel frustrating, even alienating. As a result, Namibia must be proactive in managing its image and ensuring that potential visitors are fully informed about the new requirements well in advance of their trips. For the tourism
See the
sector in
Chinese
Namibia,
over
this
there
change
going to
also
get that
presents an
damn
opportunity to modernize its
vibranium.
infrastructure and service
See all them Xi Jinping
As the
looking
country adapts to the
motherfuckers.
new visa requirements, it will need to invest
Vibranium.
in systems that can process applications quickly and efficiently, ensuring a smooth experience for all travelers. If Namibia can manage the logistical challenges of this new system while maintaining its status as a must-visit destination, it could very well emerge from this shift with a more sustainable, controlled tourism industry, one that thrives on balance, rather than the influx of unchecked international travelers. As travelers brace for these changes, it's clear that Namibia is not just changing how it handles visas. It's rethinking the role that international visitors play in the country's future. Whether this move leads to a period of hardship or a period of revitalization will depend on how
See,
well
still the
Namibia can
elements of
adapt to the new landscape
neocolonialism
and
there.
whether it can maintain its allure as one of Africa's top destinations despite the added bureaucracy. Now, the question is, why did Namibia take this bold step? This move from a liberal visa policy to a more restrictive one is not just about creating additional paperwork for travelers. It's a calculated shift that touches on issues of reciprocity, sovereignty, and global relations. This is a pivotal moment in the country's international dealings, one that sets a new tone for its relationship with global powers, particularly Western nations. Historically,
Still got the
Namibia has
elements of
been known for its liberal visa
neocolonialism there, I
policies.
see.
For years, U.S. and European citizens, along with nationals from several other countries, could enter Namibia without the need for a visa. This policy reflected Namibia's desire to foster strong international ties and boost its tourism industry. But while Namibia opened its doors freely, the situation for Namibian citizens abroad has not been so easy. Many Namibians have faced strict visa requirements when attempting to travel to the U.S. and various European countries. The imbalance in visa arrangements has sparked frustration, and over time, Namibia's government has come to view this as an unfair disparity. The shift in visa policy is, in part, a response to this imbalance. The government of Namibia has stated that this move is rooted in the principle of reciprocity.
Yeah, they did
The
commit
idea that if
genocide
other
there,
nations
Joe.
impose
You're right.
strict visa requirements on Namibian nationals, then it only makes sense for Namibia to do the same in return. While many travelers from the US, UK, and Europe enjoyed seamless access to Namibia, Namibian citizens faced hurdles in obtaining visas
Yeah,
to visit
Germany,
many of
Europe,
these
and
same
China.
countries.
Yep.
By revoking the visa-free access granted to nationals from 33 countries, Namibia is calling attention to this asymmetry and demanding fairness in global mobility practices. This decision is not an isolated one. Namibia's move is reflective of broader geopolitical trends across the African continent, where many countries are seeking to reduce their dependence on Western powers and assert greater control over their own borders and immigration systems. This is not just about visa policies. It's about
Yeah, seeing a lot of
redefining the
them
relationship
Chinese
between
there.
Africa and the Western world and moving toward a more equitable framework for international cooperation. Namibia, through this policy shift, is challenging the status quo and asserting its right to make decisions that align with its national interests, rather than continuing to accept a system that it believes is inherently flawed. Moreover, this policy change aligns with a broader pattern of African nations revisiting long-standing agreements with the West, especially in the realms of immigration, trade, and diplomacy. The visa issue is just one example of how African countries are becoming
Man,
more
them folks
assertive in
look
their
like they from the
international
hood
dealings.
right there.
The continent is seeing a shift in its diplomatic orientation, with African leaders increasingly seeking to diversify their relationships beyond the historical ties with former colonial powers. Namibia's decision reflects this broader shift, positioning the country as a more self-sufficient, autonomous player on the world stage. For Namibia, the move also reflects the importance of aligning with the global trend of prioritizing national security and sovereignty. By reasserting control over who enters the country, Namibia is not only responding to external pressure but also safeguarding its internal interests. This new policy allows Namibia to monitor and regulate the flow of travelers in a way that better reflects the country's priorities.
Now look at the name of that bank up
Be it in
there.
terms of protecting
Ain't that
the
Dutch?
local economy, ensuring national security, or fostering diplomatic relations based on mutual respect and fairness. The political and diplomatic implications of Namibia's visa decision cannot be overstated. this policy change has the potential to impact Namibia's relationship with key global partners, particularly the U.S. and the European Union. For decades, these countries have enjoyed a status of privilege, with minimal barriers to entry into Namibia. Now, Namibia is signaling that it is no longer willing to play by these old rules. The shift could be seen as a form of protest against the inequitable treatment that Namibian citizens have received when trying to travel to Western countries. It is also a move to balance the scales and level the playing field in terms of visa regulations. In the short term, the change might strain Namibia's relationships with some of its most prominent trading partners. But in the long term, it could be a step toward forging a more balanced global diplomacy. Countries like the U.S. and those in the European Union may view Namibia's move as a sign of resistance, especially if they interpret it as a reaction to their visa policies. This could lead to tense discussions in the diplomatic corridors, but Namibia's government has made it clear that it is ready to defend its position as part of a larger strategy to regain control over its sovereignty. Namibia's decision also comes at a time when the global debate around visa policies and immigration is becoming increasingly polarized. Countries in the West, particularly the U.S. and parts of Europe, are grappling with growing concerns over immigration and border security. Meanwhile, many African nations are striving to manage their internal security concerns, while simultaneously seeking to open up opportunities for economic growth and tourism. By tightening its visa requirements, Namibia is signaling that it's time for a change in the global order, a shift toward greater fairness in the way countries handle migration and diplomatic relations. But Namibia's move could also have ripple effects beyond the borders of Africa. It sets a precedent for other African countries to reconsider their visa policies, particularly with Western nations. If Namibia's decision proves successful, other nations may follow suit, further eroding the long-standing visa-free access that U.S. and European nationals have enjoyed across the African continent.
You're right about that there.
The result could be a more complex
because
and less
damn
predictable
Chinese
global
is going up
travel
there with them
landscape,
bullshit
one in which
loans, man, and
reciprocity and
seizing the
fairness
land.
play a larger role in shaping international policies.
Wait, what? What they say about Morocco? The Moors always talking about Morocco, right? Let's see, Morocco.
Continent.
To date, the preliminary or parliamentary proposal has been translated into a government decision. Where Morocco continues to welcome European citizens without visas, and no official announcement has confirmed that this measure will be implemented. However, the question of the balance between visa policies remains a sensitive issue in relations to Rabat and the European Union. European travelers
I believe
are therefore
Rabat is the capital of Morocco.
Yep. Any developments in migration policy. In the meantime, the debate on visa reciprocity remains open and could influence future diplomatic decisions between Morocco and its European partners.
Result could be a more complex and less predictable global travel landscape, one in which reciprocity and fairness play a larger role in shaping international policies. Do you think this decision will impact Africa's economy? Even if it does, is it the right step?
Yes.
Let us know in the comment section. Should more nations do the same?
Yes.
Do you want to watch more videos like this one?
All right, I'm gonna actually subscribe to your channel, man. All right, y'all. What's your thoughts on Namibia, otherwise known as Southwest German Africa?
Okay, well, it seems like that they're returning some favors, and rightfully so. Okay, is because the cave people have been okay. Joe says in 2025, Africa will continue to see the presence. Okay, if you could put that back up there, Joe was making a comment. Let me see something, man. Hold on, yeah. Okay.
How they work on fixing some of their in the U.S., yeah?
Problems here in the U.S. Okay, could you specify, brother man?
Let's see what he says. He said, okay, now someone better. Let's see what he said.
Namibia spoke out for acknowledgement. They beef us with the Chinese, the European Union, and the Germans. They took advantage of this thing that Trump doing to get their voice out. Between Wagner, the Russian private military company, Chinese and American private military companies, this is a boil, and this boil is getting ready to bust between now and when Trump leave office. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. This is why I keep on saying we here in America, us black folk have no allies at this point.
Right.
No one has reached the olive branch out to us, and even when we reach out to them, they, like I say, the biggest tell for you to know who your ally is who don't have a racial slur for you.
Right.
That who don't have a what now, brother man?
A racial slur for you. We don't have racial slurs for Africans. We make John, but we don't have specific slurs for them. All across the nation, they have specific slurs for us.
They got Akata. Yeah, damn Akata. Yeah, Jaria.
Yeah, all that.
Well then, so but what it is though, gentlemen, is you gotta understand is that this division that they put between us, man, what was that there? 500-600 years in the making, you say now. Also, too, Brother Chaz, you know, when I was telling that stupid ass Sarge, I ain't no Joe Gibson. Well, you know, your own people sold yourselves into slavery, right? And then when they got that motherfucker down there to Goree Island, and it says, you know what? We got 250 of these Negroes right here, but we got room for 50 more. So they go smash the cat in the head, man, who quote unquote sold us into slavery and throw his black ass down in the head too. Look at the case of Sin-Q. Case in point, why would the king sell his own goddamn son into slavery? I'm just asking a question.
That's what they did. That's what they did. Unless they lost the war, that's what they did for collateral.
Okay, but once again, my point is here, Brother Che, because we've been down this path before. Why would the king sell his own son into slavery? If that was not the case, you wouldn't have had the Amistad situation. Now, when you saw the movie, The Amistad, the white boy and that house nigga Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman, fuck you. And I want to make that there perfectly clear because I cannot stand your coon Uncle Tom ass, okay? Is that they said the reason being why we want to get these cats up out of here is because they were born free. They know how to fight. They know how to revolt. Then the brain dead Uncle Tim Scott, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-dah. But said, well, goddamn, man, that sound like a good idea, like the X-Man said. You had the field Negro and you had the house Negro. Field Negro will go up there and say, hey, man, let's escape. Let's run away. What that old house Negro say? Man, you must be crazy. What's better than what we got right here? We sick. What's the matter about we sick? Uncle Tim Scott, you the bow. Uncle Tim Scott to the dumpster. Oh, I just love you, bow. What the dumpster do? He passed over that trick, man, like he was shitting a toilet.
Remember Van Jones with Sleepy Jim Crow Biden.
Oh man, Van Jones is pathetic. Anytime that I see a grown-ass motherfucking man sit up there and cry because these rigged-ass elections didn't go for the slave master that he chose, man, pathetic. This is a democracy. And meanwhile, the nightstick glides gracefully upside your head. Meanwhile, the taser goes there to light your black ass up. 9mm get dumped into your unarmed black man ass. Oh, but Joe Biden, no matter been so good to me. When is that bullshit gonna end?
When it stops being
and this is for the generations after me, because the only thing I can do for you gentlemen right here, the generations after me, man, is just relate to you guys, man, what I've lived through. You say, and like Bruce Lee said, take what is useful, leave what is useless. You see? But what the problem is, the common denominator right here of what the problem is the damn colonialism. And what the compounding factors to that problem is the goddamn neo-colonialism.
Shabaka, remember Van Kwame or River Jones got a $100 million from Jeff Bezos.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that, Brother Che. You're right. You're right.
To borrow for Yu's point, he said they putting restrictions on travel in airports here in the United States, but want to do deals with other countries to help travel, but nothing is done here yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's been like that since 9/11. To you.
Yeah, okay, not 9/11, man. That was bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have no comments on 9/11. And then old Rudy Giuliani, who was called America's mayor at that time. And then you saw what happened with that crooked bastard, you know?
He got to pay them sisters for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down in
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What do y'all think would be the world's response if an envoy came from Africa to America and the police stood by as we shot or stoned him?
Okay. Now I'm gonna have to ask you for some specifics. First of all, who is we?
Foundational Blacc Americans.
FBA, us black folk. If us black folk stoned or accosted some African envoy that's trying to preach peace and unity amongst us, regardless of whether it's through religion or science, right? When he got here, if the police stood by and allowed us to accost, stone, and hurt them, what do you think Africa and the world's reaction would be?
Okay, forgive me for saying so. I'm going to turn that over to Brother Che, because that sounds a little bit ambiguous to me. What would you say on that there, Brother Che?
They would declare war on us.
Okay, now, very important question. Go ahead.
They just did American pastors like that. I put the videos in the chat. Like, the police is sitting there with their AKs letting it happen. But those are our allies. All right.
Okay, but here's one for you. Okay, now Phil Scott, we ain't promoting your shit, Phil Scott, but let me say this right here. Okay, just like when they
American
killed
preacher and his
Aubrey.
team were attacked while in Kenya for preaching that Jesus was black-skinned. Let's watch the video.
Huyu ni mmoja kati ya walioumizwa. Naona hili ni jiwe akagonga usoni. Kwa kuhubiria watu wetu tu ni watu wa maana na wao ni wana wa Israeli. Na Yesu Kristo mwenyewe ni mtu mweusi kama nyinyi. Akagonga mawe.
All of them. We went to a church yesterday. We were teaching outside. As soon as the church heard Jesus was black, they were infuriated. We've just read in the scripture. They got so mad. They threw rocks.
Okay.
Why? Because a lot of you in Kenya hate yourself. You hate the way you look. You hate anything black. Why? Because it upsets your European colonizers. So they look really like brothers. We're like, we're here to help you. They start throwing rocks, men and women. They despise what the Bible says. So we read Song of Solomon. You read it, right? And they were like, no. Picked up rocks, started throwing.
Well, it's safe to say that the greatest enemy of the black man is his own self. As seen in the video, these guys, the Kenyans, threw stones at the preacher and his team. Why? For saying that Jesus was black-skinned. Why should you throw stones at a black preacher for saying Jesus was black-skinned when you are also black-skinned? I think these guys are still brainwashed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly.
Because I do not see any reason why they would want to save their white Jesus. I do not know why. I haven't seen where it is written that Jesus was a white-skinned man or a black-skinned man. Well, according to scholars, they said Jesus was a brown-skinned Middle Eastern Jew. This whole thing started with the colonizers. Prior to the time where they came to Africa, every country depicted Jesus in their own color. Ethiopia in their own color, every African country in their own color. I mean, Jesus was depicted as a black-skinned man in the black country. But when the Europeans came to Africa, they brought with them the gospel and their white Jesus, discarding our own black Jesus we knew. Yes, they threw it aside, all in the name of racism and colonization. So we grew up believing that Jesus was white-skinned, or Jesus is white-skinned. And may I say it is not so. I'm not saying where it is written that Jesus is white-skinned, black-skinned, because everyone on earth is created in his image. Be it white-skin, black-skin, red-skin, blue, any color. We are all in his image. So are you trying to say Jesus is white-skinned? Who created us then? Well, I'm surprised at the Kenyans for that. Are they trying to see the faces of the white people, or they're trying to still be in their good books? I do not know. What do you think about the story? Comment.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think about the story. I had a homeboy that went out to Kenya, lived in Kenya for 4 years. This brother on cold codified. Brother Murray, he said that they love the white man more than the Negroes here in America love the white man. He said they ain't no coming to none of that. Outside of like the Mau, if there's any left, they love caucasoids out there. They let the caucasoid do whatever. You got whole white men, whole European men with 13 and 14-year-old girls, and ain't nobody saying nothing, doing nothing about nothing. So when I seen this video, I was not surprised. I was not surprised at all. They love them some Jesus. They have whole statues of white Jesus, big ass statues, like the one that you down there in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. Big statues like that of white Jesus. So yeah, how you gonna come together with that? How you gonna have some kind of cohesiveness with that? You go over there, you trying to enlighten them that, hey, look, the Savior look like you. But you gonna stone the brothers that's telling you this, and these is FBA brothers. These are not Africans. That's why I said they don't see us as Africans. They see us as foreigners. We go over there.
That's neo-colonialism, divide and conquer, brother Che. Neo-colonialism. There ain't no way in hell, man, that these Europeans and these dumpsters could have no worldwide mass black unity. Why? Because they know that their asses would be wiped off the goddamn planet, man, in less than a week if that was to happen.
As bad as FBA has been sold out by their leaders and by the politicians, we have not been sold out as bad as every African over there on their continent. Ain't no saving them unless they save themselves.
That's the neo-colonialism of what I mean about the chain on their goddamn brain. Divide and conquer. The white man is
2025. It is 2025. They are choosing this lifestyle. They have a choice at this point. They're choosing this over us.
Okay, but you got these outside straight hair ass manipulators called Boers talking about a white motherfucker gonna tell me on Facebook that he was an African. I said, man, I will beat your motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying?
This is in Kenya.
Check it out. Check it out. What's so crazy about it, they wanna stone the man.
The man, get with us some more. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh no, I just want to say it's a revelation, right? Let's say his head and hair was white as wool, and snow like flames of fire. His feet were like burnt bronze, burnished voice. But you know, it said right there, you know, hair like wool and feet like burnt bronze, not just bronze, but burnt bronze. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So he was like dark skin, you know. I mean, how can they fight the man over that? And then the lady come on and say, "Oh, he can be everything." No, he can't be everything. He can be exactly what it says right here. You know, if they want to go by that, I mean, how can they go by that and not go by that? You know, it's like, okay, that's like taking the brainwash to the next level. And then what's all this craziness that they be doing in some of them churches where they getting like ultra aggressive sexually with the parishioners, stuff like that. So they're more like to me that's more like on some demon time, you know. Black pop.
Well, here's one for you. Now, here's one for you, Lightning. And you saw the video too, Brother Che, where the dude was following his wife, and his wife was going to the hotel room with the pastor, and dude went there into the room and called up the pastor's wife and said, "Hey, pastor's wife, your husband, the pastor's up here trying to fuck my wife." So she hung up and called up the pastor. Motherfucking hypocrite. This is why I will donate to a pastor who is of humble means, who is trying to do something for the community. Okay, like what you do, Brother Che.
But that's a Shabaka, that's a little bit different though. I'm talking about you talking about like America over in America, they more like poverty pimping sometimes. But
what's happening with these motherfuckers is doing Lightning is poverty pimping.
There, they doing it a little bit different. Over there, they like preaching a lie. I mean, bold-faced obvious. You know, it's like preaching a bold-faced obvious lie, and it's like, what do you get out of it? It's like, man, that's madness. So I'm like, shoot, it's way different than the preachers over here riding in the Cadillac. I can tell you that.
Now, why does this sister right here look like that? She could be from the south side of Chicago, Central Africa, Morocco, or Mississippi.
And don't forget,
she's from Nigeria. But once you open her mouth, you hear all that accent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some similarities there, Shabaki. There's no denying that. But we're not all one big African.
But what it is, though, Brother Che, and this is why they go through extra added effort to keep us divided on subjects, because if the Pan-African movement got rid of all these goddamn tethers and had some real goddamn soldiers, man, and implode that motherfucker to a fist, man, like the X-Man said, would be unstoppable.
And you know, Moses' wife was the Ethiopian. I believe we have to double check that. But I believe Moses' wife was Ethiopian, and his tribe was giving them a real hard time about that. You know what I mean? Here of the tribe of Judah. You know, but I'm just saying I'm not sure which is which. But I do remember that his tribe was giving him a real hard time about his wife being Ethiopian. So there you go.
But keep in mind, Lightning, is that in Oakland, California, you do have an Ethiopian community, and the Ethiopian women are hypnotically beautiful. And I asked one, why was they such? She told me it was from God. She said it was the water.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's why they was all mad, because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it.
Okay, now hold on. And when I look at these 6 o'clock Barbie doll bimbos that go get all these BBLs from Fredericks to Hollywood and shit, and some motherfucker got the nerve to tell me that's the symbol of beauty, man, you smoking dope. Okay, Black Joe says, why both Europeans, okay, Joe, could you put that back up there, sir?
Both Europeans and Arabs were involved in slave trade. Europeans primarily transported enslaved Africans across the Atlantic to the Americas, while Arabs mainly transported enslaved Africans across the Sahara and the Mediterranean and the so-called East. Estimates suggest that Europeans transported 6 to 10 million enslaved Africans across the Atlantic, while Arabs traded around 7.2 across the Sahara or the Sahara. Yeah, that's
it's funny to me they can get. It's funny to me they can get a more definite answer on the Arab slave trade than they can the European slave trade. It's a between 6 and 10 with the whites, but it's a definite 7.2 with the Arabs. But the Arabs was the ones that was creating eunuchs, cutting us off and having men as women.
Yep, facts. You're right. We lost Shabaka. But you're right, Black Joe. That did happen. And it still happens in parts of Africa, like in Mauritania. But yeah, that's still going on.
When Gaddafi got killed, they did it. Remember when Gaddafi got killed? They enslaved them Africans?
Yep, they did it in Libya too. Yep.
I had to fact check behind myself. Moses' wife's name was Zipporah, and she was Ethiopian. Yep.
Yep. And yeah, like you said, the Asians beating them like slaves on camera, and they ain't doing nothing against that. But the brothers come over there, the FBA brothers come over there, try to enlighten these fools, and they want to try to stone them to death.
Also, a lot of the women who have moved to Africa and like as far as migrating, bruh, a lot of them have come up dead and stuff because they can't tell them women what to do.
Yep, especially in the Gambia and in Liberia.
So for us to sit back and act like they are our brothers, we do ourselves a disservice. We have no allies. We got to get our shit together between each other before we can reach out to anybody, man.
I feel you. And that's what FBA is stressing. That's why the delineation movement is so crucial and so heavy and so needed. Because everybody else been delineating but us. We've been on this, we all one big African in the struggle, and these mugs is like, I'm not black and I'm not African, I'm whatever the fuck besides that. But we sitting up here, we all Africans, we all black, and they putting white on everything.
Exactly. They ain't black until they in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's my nigga. Then that's when it's my nigga. That's yeah.
Before that, it's Akata. Goddamn Akata. You lazy Akata. You don't work hard enough. All you talk about is race.
I had an old neighbor. Her mother was out of apartheid Africa, right? She's a pretty African girl, but she's a heroin addict. She's one of the worst drug addicts I've ever seen. To look at her, you couldn't tell. Now, I'm saying this because the way that this African woman speaks down on FBA women, but she emulates everything they do. It's insane to me.
It is. But it's like Tariq said, they got that vitriol. Because they don't have that Majaro spirit. They don't have that spirit of resistance. FBA
they flee.
We ain't giving up the fight. The rest of these other black groups, they just get down with the colonizer. Like, and they kill
and pick a black group. Like, and they go for almost any black group, and that include Haiti. Like, I see what they doing now, but once again, Haiti was mad at FBA because our government was in bed with their government, and their government screwed them, and we didn't do nothing. Say what? Like, it was a video.
Oh, welcome back, Shabaka. Yeah, I was wondering what the hell had happened, but Shabaka.
No, man, you know how these motherfuckers do, man. They can't handle this goddamn heat, man. So they come up with
Black Joe, you seen 1804 that Tariq did. What did they do with their coons? They killed their goddamn coons before they had any kind of rebellion against the Europeans, the French, mainly the French, the British, and the Italians, the Italians, and the Spanish. They kicked them all off the island, but they had to get rid of the goddamn coons first.
Yeah. Facts. Yes, sir. But the United States ain't gonna do that. It's because, see, with this Samboism,
Brother Shabaka, that would not be on the United States to do. that's a quiet movement that will have to take place within our community.
Right.
Well, the only thing I can say about that is this, bro. We are all we got, man, and we got to do something pretty damn quick, man, because in 25 years or less, man, they're going to come out here throwing us out in this goddamn desert. And they ain't going to ask if you from Namibia. They ain't going to ask if you from South Central. They ain't going to ask if you's an FBA. Your black ass is going out there in that goddamn desert, man. I already see it happening, brother, in Death Valley, man. It gets to 137 degrees. Perfect place for genocide.
30 million FBA versus 300 million USA equals 1 versus 6 people. Just keep that in mind.
I understand. Now, what you're talking about right there is what they used in the Vietnam conflict called guerrilla warfare.
Yes, sir. That's why I'm hollering all that rah shit we be on. Police come up. No, don't do that. Remember the number on the car. Let them roll off. Throw them a football.
Right.
Okay. Sure, you're right. But one thing, though, that we all have to admit, though, is young man who defended himself. Okay? That was a soldier right there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then the power structure or these dumpsters, they didn't like that. You see what I mean? So that's why they try to hit him with murdering first.
Well,
and the judge says, "No, I'm gonna place you under house arrest until they go to trial." If I'm understanding the case correctly, or did she dismiss, or did she dismiss all the charges against young man?
House arrest till trial, but you gotta understand, you can't call him a soldier. You have to call him more of a martyr. Okay?
Yeah.
The young man put himself in a position to do that, and he's willing to sacrifice himself. There need to be more examples made like that.
Yes.
Okay, like what Dr. Newton had stated in his book called Revolutionary Suicide. All right.
Bingo.
Yep. That's it, Shabaka. Okay, Shabaka.
And to see these white folk mad about that GoFundMe, man, is delightful.
Yeah, I love it. Or the gift send me. Yeah. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So Shabaka,
FBA stood up on it.
Yep, we sure did, and we're gonna keep on. So, Shabaka, there's this fervor about the dump is going to deport us. How the hell is that even possible? But there's this fervor about he's going to deport FBA-DOAS-FREEDMAN, otherwise known as Blacc Americans. How are you going to deport the foundation of the country? First of all,
okay, I'm going to tell you how he's going to do it. There's something called the National Guard, the United States Marine Corps, the U.S. Navy. They got banana clips. Okay. First place they're going to start is the goddamn county jails and put them in a chain gang. Oh, you going to court. Motherfucker going straight out into this damn desert or someplace. In other words, man, just like how Hitler had the final solution. You dig?
Whoa. Hitler systematically disarmed them Jews, then put them in ghettos, and was able to do that. If we allow them to disarm us, group us, there it go. But as we sit right now, that is impossible.
Right.
Okay, now the question is, to all the factions out there, not disrespecting nobody's set. Repeat once again, not disrespecting nobody's set. You brothers are the vanguard of our people.
Just got to redirect the aim.
No, that's what I'm saying, Brother Jay.
Black Power, check this out.
More resources on Black Light.
Oh, I was gonna play that little clip of Trump talking about what check it out.
87-year-old women. Okay, you got too much volume up on the lightning. You're overmodulating a little bit. Just turn the volume down on the source.
Are you trying to share it? A video clip? It's too much feedback.
With the president for less money and have big security. And then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But it's a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem now. We're studying the laws right now, and we're studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people. I'm talking about really bad.
There you go. Right out the crocodile, out the horse's mouth.
So you got some choices. Yeah, like this is what it's gonna boil down to. We all know who these deviants are in the community. We know who the men are who will pull out their weapons and kill an innocent child. We know this. We know who the rapists are. Until we handle our own with extreme prejudice and violence for the bullshit they do, no one will take us seriously. And we will all be grouped into a train car sent off to an extermination station.
Okay, now to prove your point there even further, brother man, is that we would have to knock off 1/3 of our own people because you got too many house niggas out here.
But you got to also understand this part too. Crackers is tired of cracker shit too.
Well, only thing I can say about that is this, boss. I don't have time to worry about the cracker. Any self-destruction that he does, man, hey, so be it.
How many crackers had these organizations by way of a blackface nigga? The cracker is your worry.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, we on the same page, except I'm saying uno and you saying one. You know what I'm saying? We on the same page.
Speaking of a cracker, let's hear from the commander-in-chief.
I think what you're missing, I think you're missing one though, saying like there's some John Browns out there that's tired of their own people's shit too.
Okay, now keep in mind, Lightning, now I respect what you say. Now hold on. Now what Lightning said right there holds a lot of water. Now, I believe, now this is just a belief now, okay? This is a theory. I believe that John Brown saw that is because John Brown probably started that saying, hey man, you can only kick the dog so many times. You see what I'm saying? Like, look at that movie called Tales from the Hood. Everybody remember Tales from the Hood?
Yes, Shabaka, the shit.
Well, old boy said, you little nigglets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But see, that area of they didn't have slaves, you know. But what he did was he had 50 slaves, and all of his sons go run down on Harper's Ferry and take the armory of them, whatever. So they take the armory of and they got all the guns. And they took the top.
They hung John. Well, see, they hung John Brown. And John Brown did say that, you know, they got a right to defend themselves, because I think John Brown saw the handwriting on the wall is because you can only kick a dog so many times.
That was the insurrection. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, okay, I feel, okay, I respect your wisdom on that, Lightning. But what I'm saying, though, is this.
Sure that we don't lose the insurrectionists that's with us and behind us, you know, because we got brown berets behind us. We got all kind of people behind us.
No. When I earlier said white folk tired of white folk shit, I was speaking of John Brown. That doesn't mean an alliance between black and white. That means he gonna handle his shit and we gonna handle our shit.
No, alliance. It just means that it's some of them out there that we ain't got to worry about. You know what I mean? But they gonna round up everybody and put them like in Section A, Section B. You know what I mean? And they go Section B. We gonna be in Section A.
I'm a student of history, man. Hear me out. I'm a student of history. Whenever you see these white folk click up like they did during this last protest, they click up until they smash what they want to smash, and then they start smashing each other because you ain't white, you ain't Aryan, you a Jew, you Greek, you this. They always dissolve.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, now let me say this here, not cutting none of you gentlemen's wisdom.
But
them Greeks, them wasn't nothing but a bunch of fuck boys anyways, because when a barbarian had came out of Greece, okay, they call him Alexander, he took little boys with him. But when Mansa Musa was getting intel reports from his generals and what have you, Mansa Musa goes up there to the queen in a Songha and said, hey, baby, get your lovely ass together. And the queen would say, well, why does she have to go? Because Mansa Musa said, I'd much rather die with you by my side than to leave you here in this place get overwhelmed with these sick-ass stinking motherfuckers.
And now we have the black Greeks that put Greek ahead of their own people, the HBCUs.
Yeah, that's what kills me. No. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad that you brought that up, man, is because I saw a video where they was pledging for these packs, right? And all these motherfuckers has got their damn pants down, man, with their asses showing. What in the fuck is that?
Pure humiliation ritual that goes back to the Roman wars when they used to travel this earth trying to conquer stuff, and it wasn't no women around, and all they had was each other.
Sick shit. But at least, you know, when the African kings went out and handled their business, okay, and this is why, Brother Che, I had to quit fucking with your boy El Ya. You see? Well, black people was with that shit too. That is bullshit. Okay? That is bullshit. In African societies, man, they will kill you for that shit.
Yeah, black folk became that because of that house nigga syndrome. That yes sir boss syndrome. That's where that came from.
And cutting his balls off. And that's why you always hear the house niggas say, yes, because they ain't had no balls.
Yeah, like George Washington Carver.
Yeah, they always wanted to cut his balls off. And the reason why they cut his balls off to make him a eunuch, it wasn't so much the black man want to go after Becky, it's because it was Becky want to go after the black man. Look at the motion picture man Dingo. And Muhammad Ali, when Ken Norton played that part, let me say this here, Brother Che, just 3 sentences. When Ken Norton played that part, Muhammad Ali came up on a talk show and he had stated, there's no way in hell you gonna have me going up there getting humiliated like that. Then he went on and made his film called The Greatest My Own Story. I yield.
Hey, didn't they castrate W.E.B. Du Bois? Isn't that why he talked like that?
No, it was
I think they did. I think he did. But I think they did.
It was a tether too. Goddamn. W.E.B. Du Bois is a goddamn tether. But George Washington Carver, they did that to him. The family that had adopted him in Iowa, they had castrated him so he couldn't stay daughters.
I say, like, know the difference between the rattlesnake and the garter snake. That's all.
It's always
Well, I mean, not really, because rattlesnake can really do some damage.
No, Black Lightning, the snake that does the most damage, the most fiercest way, and his home is right there in Namibia. It's called the Black Mamba.
Yeah, the Black Mamba. That's some more wildlife. Yep. All right, Shabaka. So how the hell is the dump going to support us? Let's hear from the dump mountain himself.
Okay, let's hear what the dump is saying. And the first thing he's going to use to deport our asses is going to be the goddamn police departments and the military.
They look at balloons.
People into subways. That
third
elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized immigrants?
if they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What do you think? There's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. And I'm all for it because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job.
You know,
we have others
in
who are
private
negotiating with
prisons, right?
But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people. I'm talking about really
when you
bad
gonna
people.
turn yourself
Really
in,
bad
Trick?
people.
He's a teller too.
He's a homegrown criminal. He's talking out the crack of his stinking ass.
The dump's a tethered too, Shabaka. His people from Ireland. He ain't no goddamn homegrown. He's goddamn tethered. The dump is from Ireland, Shabaka. He's like
I thought the son bitch was born in New York City, and I thought his parents was Klan people.
He like a third. No, Shabaka. That's that DNC talking points. That's why you got to start listening to that Caucasian Nazi network and MSDNC. As human shit, and I want to make this perfectly clear. It's like a fourth, fifth generation goddamn Irishman. It's people that come over here on the Mayflower. There's people that come over here to like the early 1900s.
Oh yeah, Ellis Island. One of them Ellis Island cats.
So yeah, he ain't even homegrown. But what he talking about is people that are already locked down right now, that if they weren't locked down and they had their rights restored, would be citizens getting deported to El Salvador to finish out their sentence.
And Guantanamo Bay and shit.
See, it's a double-edged sword for me because where I grew up at, I knew serial rapists and child molesters and pedophiles, so I got a different outlook on that. Like, if we can't burn them here, let them burn over there. That's how I feel.
The pedophile, bro, there ain't no wrong you could do to a child molester and a pedophile. I got little cousins. I got little nieces.
Well, in this country,
it is in America. If a pedophile get out of jail right now, that's a known pedophile that did something to my people, and I go mop his top, I'm going to jail for murder.
Damn. Wait a minute, man. Glad you brought that. Whoa. Hold on, Brother Che. He's on to something right there, because you remember what old Gruesome Newsom signed into law in California that the damn the pedophile could violate a child just as long as the child ain't under the age of 10 or some bullshit like that.
I remember that. I remember that.
10 years.
Yeah.
And if your child's going to school doing homosexual acts, it's not your business. If you intervene in California or on the East Coast, you can, what did they say, child abuse or something like that, some kind of child charge they can hit against the parent for intervening and putting your child back on the right path.
Oh my
God. My problem is before those protests and after those protests, those white folk did, they have been openly saying they want the children. Why come those drag queens never go to an old folks home and read to them? Why is it always kids?
You know
everything they do revolves around children.
Glad you brought that up, brother Che. Remember Storybook Hour, man, in California?
Yes, and a lot of them.
You remember Drag Queen Storybook Hour in California, and they was having that bullshit in Fresno, and the parents went down there and told them, man, get the fuck up out of here with that bullshit. And then when they did background checks on these motherfuckers, both these sons of bitches was pedophiles.
And the crazy part about this is Republicans aren't exempt. There's plenty of pedophiles on them. But who is vocal? Democrat women and men. They turn a blind eye and they say What's the problem? It's a huge problem. It's not about gay or straight. Don't sexualize the children. That's gonna come naturally.
Right.
But and then here's something, man, to prove your point even further, man. When I was in California one time, and I think I was doing voter registration, right? And this woman gonna come up to me and says, quote unquote, I'm non-binary. I says, you have a good day. I got far the fuck away from that motherfucker.
I had some broad tell me that shit back in college. She was pansexual. I was like, what the hell is that? She's like,
she'll try anything.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs, people, objects.
Lord.
I'm no fan of the man that's in office, but he spared us 4 years because it was getting to a point where if you don't address these people as they, them, or this 6'8" nigga with a beard with a dress on, if you don't address him as ma'am, it's a hate crime. What?
You're right, Cali. Yeah, no. He's right about that. California got that shit on the books. Yes, sir. You are absolutely correct.
And remember Joshua in Chicago?
Oh yeah, Joshua. Yeah, you remember Joshua? Yeah, and what had happened was Joshua wanted to go off into the woman's restroom over there on the south side of Chi, and the woman is taking her baby girl in there to use the restroom, and Joshua going in there and said, I'm going in. The woman and the thugs went up there and stepped to Joshua and said, hey, Joshua, check this out, man. You go in there in that restroom, man, they're going to need an ambulance to carry your ass up out of here after we finish with you.
Right.
I remember going down to the Tenderloin, right, with my pop, and my pop, he walks up to this tall. I thought it looked like, I was young, right? I thought it was a lady woman, right? He said, he my pop say, this is a big old sissy right here. He said, go speaking your regular voice. Tell him. He said, yeah, you right. And I was like, damn, man. I was about it. He was like, this is a big old sissy right here. He said, don't make me knock you out. Tell him, man. It's like, that's crazy. Yeah, man. And if you put like, I like Trump's style as far as saying, if you're born a man, you're a man, you're a woman, you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it goes. For real.
Said there's only two genders. The dump said that.
What is it? What they say they identify. Oh yeah. Now me, I identify as a rock star at night and a comedian at day. But that's just me when I looked in the mirror and nobody laughing. Yeah, no. So anyway, Black Power.
It's amazing to me that a grown man, I'm gonna use black men in particular, that a grown black man can identify as anything but a white man.
Right. Remember, what's his name?
Anything is what?
A black man can identify in this country as anything, dog, cat, female, whatever. He can't identify as white though. But white men can say that they black.
Yeah.
Boy.
My.
Work. All right, y'all.
Well, I'm so glad that I got fewer tomorrows than yesterdays, man, because that just fucked me up right there. But let's start our closing comments, So I'm going to start my closing comment here. Thank everybody for joining us here on Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. The air date of this episode was April 15, 2025. We appreciate, all our contributors. I do ask if we disagree, please let us disagree agreeably. And by the way, where's our troll at? What's the name of our troll? Regal?
86. We 86 on the last night.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think our man there, showed him his walking papers. Okay. Well, only thing I can say about you is Regal is 2 words. Fuck you. Okay. And glad Regal is gone because he was up here talking a bunch of bullshit. Right on Mac 285. Right on. Thank you, bro. Yeah, so use that wrench and deactivated his ass. Outstanding. Now that is great work. So I'm going to bid y'all a good night here from Sin City. And guess what? Dear white people, it's 9:30 at night here in Las Vegas, and it's 74 degrees. I'm loving this shit.
Must have been 94 at this time.
Shit, I might go to the Las Vegas sign and do a live feed just for the hell of it.
Yeah, make sure it's.
Hey. And roll some dice at High Rods for me.
Yeah, they got hivers here in Vegas because, as you know, Lightning, they only used to have hivers up there in Reno and Lake Tahoe. But yeah, they got hivers here. Yeah, he's right down the street over there on the strip. You know?
Yeah, they got hivers on the strip.
Yeah. Yeah, I might go in there.
All right.
I might go bump a couple of stones, see if we can get our next month's StreamYard money. But as soon as I lose me $3, man, I'm the fuck about that casino.
Hey, I was going for the free champagne back in the day, you know what I mean? Up in Reno. And then when I stuck to Vegas, I said, oh, they got a high rise down here too. Let me rock up in there. You know, I'm like going up there getting my champagne on, right? Hitting the dice table, having a good time, and then roll out the middle of the.
But when you was in Reno, man, did you visit the site, man, over there off of Virginia Street, the site where Jack Johnson put that work in on the 4th of July in 1910?
Now, I think I was right where that happened.
Down there in like Sparks, Nevada.
Okay, that's outside of Reno. I lost money in Sparks. Yeah.
This old lady Sparks showed me. Matter of fact, that's memoirs of a Black Panther right there. I was down there in Sparks with my pop, and we was matter of fact, the sheriff had a gun that was long as hell. That's why I gotta give me one now. That joint goes.
Yeah, that's just the wild, wild west. Wild west.
Get all the way up to the top, and then get him. Yeah, dude. So what I'm saying, we went down there. And the old lady, she owned the casino, this little bar. It wasn't no casino, but it was a little bar. And they had a bunch of slot machines up in there, right? And she said, she showed me how to do it. Man, I was like, what? I was like, she hit every time. And she showed me how to do it, right? And I was like, oh, so we on to something now. But she wouldn't pull it all the way down. She pulled it kind of down and make it click, and then she pull it back up, right? And then she yank that joint, and it's gone. It's gone. You gonna get some money out of that for real.
And do you know with that shit right there up there in Wayne County, Nevada, man, that they could hit her with a damn case, man. She'd do time in the Nevada State Pen for 10 years.
They probably ain't got them old-fashioned slot machines no more, though.
No, man, all this shit's computerized now. You can't put coins in there, man. What you do, you put your money in there, but when they pay you, when you hit or you decide to cash out, they're going to give you a slip and you got to go to a machine to get your money.
You remember when they had the silver dollars? They had them great big silver dollars down there. Yeah. I mean, silver dollars. You know what I mean? Big old stack of that shit. And them big old giant red dice, man. I take them big old giant red dice back to the hood. I was like, what they here for? What they here for?
Negroes wasn't getting denied their jackpots until these computers came into play.
Exactly. And you know what there, my man? I'm gonna tell you something there, man. There's something in the newspaper I was reading about that there today, man. Saying that that people was getting fucked out of their jackpots.
Thanks to the good old computer. The computer slot machines and gaming machines, you might well go shoot dice for somebody you trust.
Yeah.
Hey, great job, Mac 285. Yeah, you put that wrench on his ass. Right. Love it, Mac 285. Love it. Okay, so therefore, Rico was shown the door, folks, and he won't be back. You know what I'm saying? And good riddance to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
I got a closing
statement. He fucked around and found out.
I heard me. I got a closing statement.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Blacc.
All right, now listen, y'all. Y'all know even our weakest black man is the baddest motherfuckers on earth. Now, everybody knows that we have to use emotional intelligence when dealing with crackers, man. Like that Green Mile stuff I wrote, I hate to say it, but it's true. To rah is to get 7-8 of these crackers up on you. To play it kosher and let them go off is to catch him on the rebound eating a donut.
Yeah.
So we have to be more methodical about this because everyone expects FBA to rah beat your ass because we will beat their ass.
Yeah,
right.
You know, during the Mike Brown situation here in MO, man, they went through the police station and put sugar in all their tanks.
Yep, sure did. I was down there.
So,
I went
so when
go ahead.
Yeah. So when I say we have to rethink we have to refocus our anger from reactionary to methodical. There's plenty of vacant houses, bushes, and lots covering concealment. Understand that when we bleed, if they bleed, we stop bleeding. And I land my plane.
Thank you, Blacc.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's the art of war right there. Without a doubt.
Blacc News, so you'll be notified every time we go live, because we do other shows besides Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced, but you're always welcome. All right, Blacc, what's your closing statement, sir? Black Lightning, or you went on mute?
Yeah, right here. I'm doing a fundraiser for to get kids over here to the circus. So I've been doing a lot of my channel. Anybody, they can check it out. And we're gonna go live from the circus on Thursday, and everybody can kick whatever contribution so that we can get extra tickets. We got. I wasn't sure exactly how many kids were going to be available, children are going to be available at the Boys and Girls Club, but they said they got 20. And they said that on camera because I got that on one of my lives. I think you caught it, Shabak. I do that. I think Black Power.
And post it up there on the like page at Shabaka'S Blacc Experience, man, for community efforts. You know what I'm saying?
Just saying we're going to do that Thursday, go live. And then everybody can check it out on my FB Facebook Live on the Black Openum Lion channel, so that we can keep that going. That's just a start. Want to go from that to the community center over there? You can rent it, right? And then they got a girls club. They got 40 kids all together. So we'll start getting that spot and see if we can do a little basketball, a little martial arts. This and that, you know what I mean? So a little something for the kids, so they, can learn some, have some role models and this and that. Plus walking distance from each other, so that's a good thing. Oh, and there's a skate park right behind that joint, so it's like everything really falling together for real. So that's on mine with Black Openum Lion channel, and that's the same. And I use the same Black Openum for the cat Black, the number one, the only one, the $. If you want to kick it out for me, so we can get some more tickets for the kids. It's all right.
Yeah, that sounds
yeah, man. You can put it up there on the like page, brother. You know, that's what Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced like page is for. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't really go on the light. I've never been on this, so I don't really know how. But right here, right now, it's the same Black Openum number one, $. Black Openum number one, just to get the tickets for Thursday. For Thursday is the 4:30 show, and a 7th grade. So, and I didn't go live where I was riding through the neighborhood, and I saw about 6 kids that I kind of invited to come on up there. So I got to get them, and 10 from the other spot. And then I was hoping maybe the parents they'll lock and load the other. So we got about 16 kids going. It should be a blast. So y'all tune in. At least y'all getting a free service out of it. So everybody tune in so that they can go ahead and with the $12 that they pay for their tickets will be going to the kids' tickets. And you never know, I might to meet to the Lions or something, distract them or something like that there. And when they fighting over the meat, I'll bring in about 10 kids. You know how I roll. Black.
Okay. Yo, I was friends with you on Facebook. They shut my Facebook page down though. I can't access it. But we'll share your link in the chat. Make sure if y'all on
okay,
Facebook,
and also too, I just put in a friend's request to him.
All right,
y'all. I just put in a friend's request to him.
Just do something for the kids, something for the community, something for the hungry. You know, but you have a lot of food, excess food that you know you ain't really gonna get around to, and just give it all away. You know what I mean? And the more we give, the more we're gonna get too. So it's like I'm ready to just. If we gotta keep on, that's why the people gotta come on, contribute to the conspiracy, man, so that they can keep put the cash up there. You had the cash up there last time. Put that up there, so the people can contribute. You know, yeah, they need to make sure that Black Conspiracy Hands keep rocking them for the next 50 years. You know, into say Shabaka from the beginning of time to 5.
Oh yeah, we deal with the Black, sir. We deal with the Black experience from the beginning of time to 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right, Shabaka. All right, y'all, I'm gonna close this out. So, like we've been saying since day 0, we at war, Black family. So get strapped or get clapped.
Yes, sir.
The rest of these groups, they own us. We're not caping for y'all, as Black Joe so eloquently stated. We're not coming out protesting with y'all. None of that shit. Y'all trying to
rob us. We can't afford it no more.
The dump can't
afford it no more.
That ain't already been done. So
yes, sir.
Get our booties out to the polls nor to the damn protests. We're gonna continue minding our own FBA business and doing what is rightfully needed for our communities. So appreciate everybody that tapped in tonight. This is going to conclude season 10, episode 20 of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. Make sure y'all join us this Friday for Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase at 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Central, and 11 a.m. in the East. So peace, love, reparations and separations and Black empowerment. Cherry and Kruma signing out from the Mile High Income and a legal migrant flooded city, soon to be deported to the rest of the city. Peace,
and
love,
then I want to say one last closing comment. And Sarge, you lousy scoundrel, you out there giving us that bogus ass email address, putting your ass on blast. You ain't shit, Sarge. And if you don't like it, man, shit, you know how to get in touch. All right, so I'm killing the live stream and thank everybody for joining us this evening.
We got the outro. We're gonna go out with the outro. Go to stream into the outro. Thank you, Black. Black Lightning.
Good thing.
I have stood where once Jefferson Davis stood and took an oath to my people. It is very appropriate that from this cradle of the Confederacy, this very heart of the great Anglo-Saxon Southland, that today we sound the drum for freedom. And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
My first
time that America refused to give the Negro any land.
through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Any problem for the masses of black people in this country whatsoever, but it does make the hand-picked Negroes be satisfied to slow down the cry of the masses. And a good example of that is as soon as the spirit of rebellion or revolution began to spread among the masses of black people in this country, and they began to take an active part, and they showed that they weren't confined to this nonviolent approach, then the government or the power structure began to sit up and take notice. And now, as you said earlier, the president is talking about new legislation and to put it, take it out of the streets and put it back in the courts. Why? As long as it's in the streets, it's in the hands of the masses of black people who will not compromise or who cannot be bought out. But when you put it back in the courts, then that puts it back into the hands of the hand-picked Negro leaders, who will allow the judges and the other persons that are involved in this white power structure to slow them down. It's only a trick. And as long as the masses of black people are involved in the struggle for freedom, not integration, but freedom, respect as human beings, respect as men, and show that they're willing to die to be respected as men, then the power structure sits up and takes notice. But as long as this mass element is led, and when I say led, I use led in quotes, actually contained by Uncle Tom Negro leaders who hold them back, who tell them turn the other cheek, and things like that, then the white power structure isn't worried at all. They're only worried when they know that the masses of black people are ready to explode, and in exploding it will destroy some of the furniture in their house, and then they react accordingly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, ending the stream. Thank you so very, very much for joining us. We out.
Weren't confined to this nonviolent approach, then the government or the power structure began to sit up and take notice. And now, as you said earlier, the president is talking about
rest in power.